Curtis Vikings, playing for this state's AAA championship. Live from the Tacoma Dome, a new era begins in high school championship football, the first ever Gridiron Classic. Hi, everybody. I'm Ron Callan alongside Husky great, former Husky great Chuck Nelson, and also an NFL kicker. And Chuck, you've been here before. You played high school football. These young guys, Kamiakin and Curtis, right now the butterflies are flowing. This is the biggest moment of their football lives.
Well, literally thousands of high school football players are trying to play football on this Saturday night. Back in August, everybody started practicing. This is where they wanted to be. For high school football players, this is it. And think about when you were in high school. The drama of everything in your high school life. The highs are so high, the lows are so low. For football players, it's magnified because for a lot of these kids, this is the last chance they'll ever get, the last time they'll ever put on a football uniform.
And I think we have a good matchup tonight. Kamiakin out of Kennewick, they've come a long way after starting 2-2. And of course, the Curtis Vikings, they played their football just a few miles from the Tacoma Dome. Both teams excited about tonight. We're going to introduce those teams to you coming up in just a minute. We'll also hear from Cairo's Tony Ventrella. He reports to us on what happened earlier today here at this great high school football championship situation. So stay with us here on the first ever Gridiron Classic.
The 1995 WIAA U.S. Bank High School Football Championship, Gridiron Classic 1. Brought to you by U.S. Bank, proud supporters of high school activities. By your Northwest Chevy Geo dealers, home of the award-winning Chevy Blazer. By Magnolia Hi-Fi, since 1954, the Northwest's affordable experts. By your local Northwest Ford dealer, home of the Ford Taurus, the best-selling car in America. And by the United States Postal Service, helping you handle the holidays.
It's staggering. You've got more sport utilities to choose from than ever. So what's your best buy?
This large geodesic dome, and there's the neon. It's the Tacoma Dome, site of the 1995 AAA Championship Finals, the first ever Gridiron Classic. And it's going to be an exciting game tonight between the Kamiakin Braves and the Curtis Vikings from Tacoma. Welcome back, everybody. You know, for Kamiakin, it's been quite a wild road, Chuck, because at one point they were 2-2. They were having a tough start, and in fact, they lost to Walla Walla 30-0 at one point.
Had a bunch of players injured early. They've played very, very well over the last month or two of the season, and they've earned the right to be here by playing that well.
Right, and the coach of the Kamiakin Braves is one Craig Beverlin. He coaches from upstairs, as you can see him right now. He's talking to, maybe that's his son or daughter. He's excited about this game, and he talked earlier about tonight's big game. A blustery day at Kennewick's Lamson Stadium provided the backdrop for Kamiakin's semifinal victory over the Cascade Bruins. Cascade came right at the Braves. On the second play of the contest, Ray Butler found an outside lane and sped 70 yards to the Kamiakin 5-yard line. Butler finished the drive one play later with his touchdown run. Kamiakin came back behind the arm of junior quarterback Scott Mitchell as he connected with Jeremy Grillo for a 21-yard touchdown strike. The Braves added to their lead when Mitchell went to work again, finding Jay Robinson in the end zone for 6 points. Trailing 22-15, Cascade fought back behind the running of Ray Butler. His third touchdown of the game, a 5-yard run, knotted the score at 22. Then with a mere 41 seconds remaining in the contest, Braves QB Scott Mitchell answered the call, tossing his fourth TD pass of the game. A 50-yarder to Jeremy Grillo that gave Kamiakin the lead and sealed the victory, 28-22 over the Bruins. Your key player right there. Scott Mitchell is the key player for the Kamiakin Braves. Chuck, he threw for over 2,000 yards this season. He's a tremendous player. He's got the size, 6'4", to look over those defenders.
A very smart player, reads defenses very well. The passing game is a very big part of what Kamiakin tries to do. And for Curtis, on the other hand, it's a team that likes to run the football. Head coach Bob Lucy has been the head coach for 20 years of the Curtis Vikings. We was an assistant with the team for 5 years before that. They've had some tremendous success down here in Tacoma, has Bob Lucy and the Curtis Vikings. You see, he's won 2 state championships in '89 and '90. How'd they get here in '95? Last week, right here in the Tacoma Dome, the Curtis Viking fans were hungry for a victory over the Evergreen Plainsmen. And the Vikings set the tone early when Sam Gage powered in on this 1-yard run that finally got referee approval for the touchdown. Curtis pushed the lead to 10 when junior kicker Nick Lance split the uprights with this 45-yard field goal. Evergreen came back in the second quarter as Derek Burley connected with Dave Fields, who finished off the 27-yard pass play for 6 points. The point after touchdown failed, and the halftime score remained 10-6. The second half of this semifinal game was scoreless until Elijah Baker broke free with 1:19 remaining. His 31-yard scoring strike put Evergreen away and earned Curtis a ticket to the finals. They won the game with the pass there last week in the semis, but as I said, the running game is what they are very good at. Elijah Baker is a junior. He's averaging 6.5 yards a carry, almost 1,000 yards on the season for Elijah Baker. Sam Gage is their senior running back, over 1,500 yards for Sam Gage. This is a team that averages 240 yards per game on the ground. They are very, very good. They are very, very fast. They only have a couple of players that go both ways, as does Kamiakin. So you're going to see a lot of high school football players. You're going to see a pretty good football game.
Looking forward to that Curtis running game. But you know, this game is just one of 5, a big quintuple header here in Tacoma today. Lots of exciting action. We're going to show you all the highlights a little later on. Let's go to the Cairo studios and Tony Ventrella. He has the latest on what's going to happen later tonight here on the broadcast.
Thanks a lot, Ron and Chuck. They ought to call this, instead of the Gridiron Classic, 12 hours of great high school football, because that is what it's going to amount to. Coming up at halftime tonight, we'll have highlights and post-game reaction from the other 4 championship games. Now, earlier today, the O'Day Irish made it back-to-back state titles when they beat Prosser. Running back Tony Miller rushing for 176 yards. We'll hear from him and have extensive highlights from the O'Day victory. They won it 35-14 earlier today. We'll also have highlights from the other 3 championship games, as well as some halftime highlights from Curtis and Kamiakin. Let's toss it back down to Tacoma. Ron and Chuck.
Game in just a second. All right, welcome back here to Tacoma, everybody. And you know, I think one of the big keys to this game, though, is the size of the Kamiakin defense. All 11 players on defense, the starters, are under 200 pounds. How are they going to stop these big runners?
This is not a team that overpowers people. They have a lot of very good athletes. They don't have any real stars. It's a team, especially on defense, with a lot of guys that work very hard. They're fairly fast. They're fairly big. Nothing special, just a lot of pretty good, hard-working kids from Kennewick.
Well, you know, there's a lot going on the sidelines during the game as we watch the officials prepare for this 1995 AAA final. When we return here to Tacoma Dome live in just a couple of minutes, we're going to go down and talk to our sideline reporters about what's the move of Kamiakin and Curtis. Stay with us.
Us versus them. And some banks.
Side of Washington State for this game. All during this contest, we're going to be listening to Nita Wiggins. She's on the Kamiakin sidelines. Nita, what's the mood down there with Kamiakin?
Hey, Rod, I'm right here in the middle of the land of the Braves. This team is so excited to be here. This is the first state final for Kamiakin. Now, Coach Craig Beverland had one of the more colorful comments this week. He said that he did not mind if this game were played in an aircraft carrier. And, of course, he was responding to the fact that the game is actually in the backyard of the Curtis Vikings. But this team is ready. The players were intense all week getting ready for this title game. And, of course, we'll be right here to update you on what the sideline has to say about what's going on right down here. Back to you up in the booth.
Thanks, Nita. Now it's time for our national anthem. This is the Curtis Band. Curtis High School band with the national anthem. Of course, down on the Curtis sidelines tonight, our reporter with all the action of what's going on with the Vikings is Bill Rocky. Bill?
Curtis really become quite a powerhouse in high school football, winning it in '89 and '90, of course. They're back now in '95 with all sorts of team speed, and that's what Kamiakin's worried about. The only loss Curtis had this year was to Rogers, and that seemed to refocus the team. And here they are again in the state final. Ron and Chuck, I'm looking for a great matchup.
All right, thank you, Bill. Of course, the keys to this game tonight, Chuck, we've been talking about this all afternoon and evening. I guess it's pretty obvious, really.
Well, for Curtis, they run the ball. That's what they do. That's what they'd like to do. That's what they need to do to win the football game. For Curtis on defense, pressure on Scott Mitchell. We said he's very good at reading defenses. Cascade had a lot of trouble putting pressure on him last week, and that allowed him to throw for those 4 touchdowns. If you're Kamiakin, spread the field on offense. That's what they like to do. A lot of one back from Kamiakin, lots of 3 receiver type of formations. If you're on defense and you're facing that Curtis Viking speed, don't give up the big play. Make them earn their yards. Try to create a little turnover if you can, and that's how Kamiakin can win the game.
All right, we're getting ready for the kickoff here now. It'll be the Kamiakin Braves kicking off, going from our right to our left. They're wearing the white, red, and gold uniforms. Curtis in the home blues here inside the Tacoma Dome. An historic moment here in Washington High School football. The first ever AAA championship game inside the Tacoma Dome. And here's the kickoff by Eric Mackey. It's a short one. Taken by number 9, Jake Sampson. He's up to about the 32-yard line before he's brought down by Ryan Wakefield, number 1. So here we go, Chuck. First down and 10 for the Curtis Vikings on the 32-yard line. Pretty good field position.
Curtis got off to a great start in their semifinal game against Evergreen, scoring on their first possession. Ended up only scoring 17 points in the game, but did exactly what they wanted to do on the first possession.
All right, let's take a look at the offense for the Curtis Vikings. Jensen, Gwynn, Gehring, Bowser, and Daub along that offensive line. Salzman, the quarterback, Elijah Baker, and Gage, Tharps, Shamari Wilson, and Robinson. Here's Salzman. He fumbles the ball. He falls on it for a loss of about 4 yards. Back on his own 28. Not exactly the way we want to start off that high school championship game, Chuck.
Well, obviously, everybody's got to be a little bit nervous here tonight. This is a big day for a lot of guys, and Gunnar Gehring and Matt Salzman included, unable to get phase 1 accomplished, and it brings up 2nd and 13 for Curtis.
So obviously a passing situation for the Curtis Vikings as Ryan Wakefield goes wide to the left. Gage and Baker the backs. As a handoff to number 30, Sam Gage. He powers up to about the 30 before he's piled on by a couple of Kamiakin Braves. JRAV with the tackle for them, and looks like they'll pick up about 2, so it's going to be 3rd and 12.
Again, passing situation, but this is not a team that passing is really their forte. They've got so much speed. When you talk about Sam Gage, their tailback, we call him a tailback. There's really a couple of running backs because both he and Elijah Baker carry the ball a lot. Sam Gage is a 4.4 40 guy, and Elijah Baker is a 4.5 40 guy, so you don't have to put it in the air to get big yardage.
3rd down situation. The fake handoff to Gage. Salzman rolling right. He throws it out there. It's dropped by number 8 for the Curtis Vikings, Jeff Coward, and it looked like it might have been intended actually for number 6, Terry Tharps. Looks like some confusion for the wide receivers there.
Well, you saw Salzman make the rollout on the play fake and throw the ball deep a little bit. Not the strongest arm in the world. The ball was actually, as you said, Ron, on target for 2 guys. Jeff Coward tried to make the play, had the opportunity to make the play, but a good 3rd down defensive play and a break for Kamiakin.
Punting situation for the Curtis Vikings. Mike Lucy, the son of the coach Bob Lucy, he does the punting chores for the Curtis Vikings, and there's the kick. It's a low, wobbly one that, well, looks like it's going to get a Curtis bounce and roll all the way inside the 30 to the 25, continuing to roll inside the 20 on this AstroTurf inside the Tacoma Dome that used to be in the Kingdome years ago. It stops on about the 16-yard line, a 55-yard punt. Not bad for one off the side of the foot, Chuck.
Well, you talk about field position a little bit early, and sometimes you'd rather be lucky than good. Mike Lucy's had a pretty good playoff run. He's averaging 38 yards per punt in the playoffs, and that time got the butt of the ball to hit first on the ground and got the bounce. This turf is not the softest turf in the world, and he took advantage of it.
Well, here come the Braves right away in a no-huddle offense with Scott Mitchell, the quarterback. 6'4", 175. First and 10 on their own 15. Mitchell back to pass right away. He hits the receiver at about the 20-yard line. Number 17, Craig Hayes, picks up about 4 yards.
Curtis tried to run the ball on their first series, on their first and second down. That's what they do best. Kamiakin, this is what they do best. They throw the ball, they spread the field. Running the no huddle is nothing new to them. They do this a lot.
Second down, a little under 5 yards to go for the Braves. 9:24 left, first quarter, no score. AAA final. A handoff, and that one's piled on by a group of Curtis Vikings led by Jake Sampson. Nice job to stuff the running back for a loss there for the Kamiakin Braves. It looks like that was number 32, Nick Freese.
Nick Freese is the guy that they run the ball with. He's a 1,400-yard guy, 17 touchdowns, 117 yards a game. Nothing there.
All right, third down, 5 yards to go. Mitchell back to pass, out into the flat. He hits number 99, Jay Robinson, B.J. Robinson. And it looks like he may just be a little bit short of the first down, Chuck.
That's a play that they like to run as well, that outside wide receiver screen. Basically, the wide guy comes underneath and all the linemen get downfield out in front of him. If you can pop that initial attack, you can get a big play out of it, but that time Robinson unable to get through.
All right, fourth down, Clinton Cower. He gets off a punt that's a little better. It's still wobbly, but it bounces, hits one of his own players at about the 44-yard line in the back of the foot. So the ball should be placed dead there at the 44. And it's Curtis with the ball once again. It looks like a punt, maybe just under 40 yards, Chuck.
32 yards.
32
Curtis
yards,
is obviously getting the better of field position here on the exchange of punts.
Now, that was an unintentional touch by one of the Kamiakin Braves, but a flag has been thrown.
Fair catch interference on the kicking team.
Fair catch interference is the call. Obviously, if the ball hits the covering player in the back, or in this case, the back of the foot, he probably didn't give the receiving player the opportunity to catch it. And the field position goes the way of Curtis. They'll start this drive after the penalty up around midfield.
Let's take another look at this situation here. The ball coming down at about the 45. Watch the back of the left foot. And let's face it, Chuck, it's a break for Curtis early. Not a big break, but with 8:13 to go, you're almost at midfield. You want to get comfortable with the offense. This is a good place to do it.
But when you've got a team like Curtis that likes to run the ball too, it's important for Kamiakin to give them the long field to go on. Starting at your own 44, pretty close to midfield. I don't call that a long field.
A nice crowd on hand here in Tacoma Dime. Let's take a break here right now, though, with the score 0-0. The first ever Gridiron Classic. We will return to the Tacoma Dome right after these words.
Let's compare a 25-inch TV, $299 at Magnolia Hi-Fi, $299 at another store. But Magnolia is a better value. At Magnolia Hi-Fi, your questions are answered by the friendliest, most experienced staff in the Northwest. Magnolia's special displays make it easy and fun to compare models, and you get service. Magnolia Hi-Fi has the best service department in the nation. So you see, at Magnolia Hi-Fi, you get more than just a low price. You get a better value.
This year, you've got more new sedans to choose from than ever before. So what's your best buy? Chevy Lumina. Says who? Consumer's Digest for starters. Lumina's priced thousands less than Taurus, thousands less than Intrepid, Toyota Camry, not even close. And they're equipped virtually the same.
Bottom line, new Luminas start at just $16,895. Now that's affordable.
Chevy Lumina, your best bet, your best buy.
Stop by your Northwest Chevy Geo dealer today.
Welcome back to the WIAA U.S. Bank Gridiron Classic. Ron Callan alongside former Husky great Chuck Nelson. And Chuck, so far, looks like Curtis gets a good opportunity to some great field position.
So again, this is the way they like to play. If you can make them only go 55 yards for a score with that running attack, it makes it a lot easier for them than making them go 80 yards.
All right, first down and 10 on their own 44-yard line. The handoff. Number 20, Elijah Baker. He goes around the right end, the 45 to 50, the 45 to 40. He could go. He gets to the 25, knocked out of bounds at the 15-yard line by number 30 for the Kamiakin Braves, Scott Kuklinski. A 5'10", 150-pound DB. Elijah Baker showing some great speed.
Yeah. When you're playing defense against speed, it's incredibly important, terribly important to make sure your outside guys turn the play in. And in this case, Kamiakin doesn't get it done there. You see the block from number 6, Terry Tharps, on the corner, and then you see the speed of Elijah Baker to get around the corner. It's been around for a long time, the phrase, and it's never been truer. Speed kills.
A 42-yard pickup and a first down on the 16-yard line for the Curtis Vikings. Knocking on the door here in the first quarter. Another handoff. This time it's to Sam Gage. He picks up a tough 2.5 yards. Nice job by number 95 for the Kamiakin Braves to pull him down. That would be Nathan Gladstone. What a story Nathan Gladstone is.
Diagnosed with Hodgkin's disease earlier, has undergone chemotherapy, missed the first part of the season, has come back to play very well. He's a senior. Incredibly great story of a high school football player that's overcome a lot and is playing with his team in the high school state championship game.
7:32 to go, first quarter. This time it's taken by number 15, David Baker. He goes in for a touchdown for the Curtis Vikings. Can you believe it? 3 plays and 6 points for Curtis as they take a 6-0 lead. Nice job by the 5'9" sophomore. And with the score, 6-0. We will go for an extra point here. Will they go for 1 or 2? I see their place kicker out there. Number 10 for the Curtis Vikings, Nick Lentz.
Nick Lentz is a very talented place kicker. Had a 45-yard field goal in the semifinal game. In high school football, if you've got a kicker that can kick fairly well, it's a tremendous advantage. And for Curtis, as you see, the extra point is indeed good. Nick Lentz is a tremendous advantage.
A nice job by Nick Lentz and a great job by David Baker. And with the score, Curtis 7, Kamiakin nothing. 7:25 left in the first quarter here at the Tacoma Dome. We'll be back with more of our Gridiron Classic right after these words.
This is your last chance to experience The Road Ranger, starring an
We scored on our first possession, though, but we scored on our second.
Okay, Ron, so far so good for the Vikings.
Thank you, Bill, and thanks, David Baker. An exciting moment for the sophomore, and now it's time for Kamiakin to try to come back. They get the ball on the 5-yard line. That's Nick Freeze. He gets out to the open. He'll make it all the way across the 50-yard line into Viking territory unless he stepped out of bounds. They say he didn't. He's out of bounds on the Viking 45. What a great run back and a great way to regain the momentum. A 50-yard return.
Talked about Curtis's ability to make big plays from the line of scrimmage. Special teams is a way to make big plays when maybe you don't have the speed that the other team does. And in this case, it's Nick Freeze on the kickoff return. He's a big guy, 6'2", 185. That's a pretty good high school kickoff returner. That's good size and turnabout fair play. Good field position for Kamiakin.
No huddle offense. Once again, it's Mitchell. 1st and 10 on the 45 of Curtis. And it's Mitchell back to pass. Here comes the blitz, but he gets the ball away to number 32, Nick Freeze. Freeze, though, is swarmed by a host of Viking tacklers back at their own 48-yard line, a loss of 7.
Good job by Scott Mitchell of reading the pressure, knowing where his hot receiver is, and getting the ball out wide to Nick Freeze. But there you get a look at the defensive speed of Curtis. Their 4 linebackers all run 4.6 or better. That's pretty good at the college level, much less the high school level.
They're on the backfield on that one, Chuck. 2nd down and 17 now. The Braves in their own territory now. Moving backwards, but here's Mitchell. Throws it out into the flat. And number 99, once again, the same play they were using on their first series. That was Jay Robinson again.
Jay Robinson in the passing game is definitely their go-to guy. 61 receptions on the year. Almost 1,000 yards receiving. You can see again the no huddle, a lot of misdirection, crossing routes, try to take advantage of that Curtis speed if they can and catch them running, using that speed to run themselves out of plays.
Ryan Ferguson with a tackle for the Vikings. 3rd down now and 12 yards to go for the Braves. And it's Mitchell under center. Once again, back to pass, looking downfield. He hits his receiver. It's number 17, Craig Hayes. Nice catch, but 5 yards short of the first down.
You take what you can get, but sometimes if it's 3rd and long, you better get enough for the first down. One of the things you're going to notice about high school football, a little bit different than college football and the NFL, is you're going to see a lot more going for it on 4th down. Here's the 3rd down play again, and you get a look At first, the read by Mitchell, and then the strong throw by Mitchell. 4th and 5 in high school football. They're going to go for it in this part of the field.
Here we go. There's the pass overthrown. But there's a penalty on the play. Let's see what it is. I see one of the Curtis Vikings clapping, so it looks like it's holding against Kamiakin. They'll probably refuse, and Curtis will take over on downs.
When you're playing the passing game,
offense.
if you're Curtis on defense against Scott Mitchell in this Kamiakin passing game, you've got to put pressure on the quarterback. That time, Brian Bassage, number 87, did a good job of putting pressure.
Penalty is refused
on Scott Mitchell. Obviously refused the penalty. Take the turnover, which basically what you have on a 4th down. That doesn't make it. Those up front guys for Curtis on defense are pretty good size as well. You've got Cowart, Bowser, and Bassage, 220, 230, and 185. And that's how you get holding calls on an offense. Is basically it's because the offensive lineman gets beat and has to grab in order to try to save his quarterback.
Well, Cowart, number 8 at 6'5", 220. He's a Division I prospect, and he's had a tremendous season for the Curtis Vikings as they come up to the ball with 5:24 left here in the first quarter. 1st and 10 on their own 39. Once again, it's Salzman. He goes back to pass on the 1st down, looking over the middle. A wide open Jake Sampson, and he's going to go all the way. Touchdown, Vikings! Wow, they catch them napping in the backfield there, Chuck. 61 yards.
The play fake draws the linebackers up and the safeties in well. And then it's just a run for Jake Sampson. Sampson went in motion before the snap and got lost back in that Kamiakin defense, and a great fake and a great throw from Matt Salzman. Yeah, big plays in the running game, and a big play in the passing game.
And if you're a receiver, you know you're wide open for your first touchdown in the championship game. What's going through his mind? Hopefully Bill Rocky can get him later on. Maybe we can ask him that question. Here's the extra point try. Once again, it's nicely done by Nick Lenz. And with 5:16 to go here in the first quarter, the Curtis Vikings have jumped out to a big 14-0 lead. And now the challenge for Craig Beverland and Kamiakin is, hey, it's early. There's plenty of time left. Let's get our offense going. Let's get some points on the board. Let's get back into this ball game.
Well, obviously, you don't want to be down 14-0. Curtis is a team that scores a lot of points. They average 31 points a game. But so is Kamiakin. They're thinking, hey, we're averaging 28 points a game. We know we can do it. Don't get rattled. Keep playing defensively. We can make some plays. Talk about guys that are making plays. Bill Rocky on the Curtis sideline.
Hey, Jake, they must have been up on the run there. You were wide open.
Yeah, we've been working on it all week. They split the seams, split the safeties apart. Touchdown all the way. It worked perfect. We practiced it all week. I say, if it wasn't for the lineman, I wouldn't have made it.
Teamwork. You got a trivia question now. Who scored the 2nd touchdown ever in the Gridiron Classic? It's going to be you.
Like I said, I'm happy I scored. That's it.
All right, we'll remember that trivia question 5 years from now, guys.
All right, Bill, I love the war paint all over his face there, Chuck.
I don't want that sun to get in his eyes here in the Tacoma Dome.
Well, I'll tell you what, just early impressions of football in the Tacoma Dome. It's more intimate than the King Dome. People here have had a lot of fun this afternoon, all starting at 9:30 this morning with the B8 game and culminating tonight with this AAA game. And it's kickoff time for Nick Lenz and the Vikings.
That's the Curtis fans that are having more fun so far tonight in the AAA game.
Here comes Robinson, moving to his left, cutting up the middle, gets a small hole, and barely makes it back to the 20. I think he's tackling the 19, and once again, it's Mike Codwell, who's he's a tiger out there. He's one of the top defenders, one of those wild linebackers that we're talking about.
Speed linebacker, but obviously a good player as well. Curtis on offense, that's a pretty good drive. Not much for time of possession, but I think they'll take the average yards per play. Saltzman to Sampson.
And for the first time, I've actually watched the Braves go into a huddle. That was their first huddle of this AAA championship game. First down and 10, just about on the 19-yard line. And Mitchell under center. There's a pitch to Freeze, looking for a hole. It's just not there. He picks up maybe 1, maybe 2 yards.
His linebackers pursue very, very well. See number 41 there, Mike Cadwell. He's a senior, 6'1", 185 pounds. In the semifinal game, this Curtis defense forced 5 turnovers against Evergreen. Cadwell had 3 interceptions in the semifinal game alone.
All right, second down and about 9 yards to go for the Braves out of Kennewick, Washington. Headed to their first ever state AAA championship final, down 14-0, trying to come back. Mitchell fakes the handoff, rolls to his left, looks deep, it's not there, throws it in the flank. Number 21, Mike Thompson. He's brought down immediately after a gain of about 4 yards.
Mike Thompson, your fullback, obviously not the first choice of Mitchell. Tried to go downfield again. Jay Robinson, the split end, is his favorite target, but Mike Thompson is actually the backup fullback. Steve Thompson is your starting fullback.
Jeff Cowart once again in on the tackle for the Vikings, number 8. Keep your eye on him tonight.
Mike Thompson filling in for the injured Steve Thompson.
3rd and 5. Mitchell goes out in the flat. It's going to be intercepted and dropped. Oh, almost a sure touchdown by Gabe Garabato. He had the goal line right in front of him, and maybe he had too much time to think about it.
The quick out route to get to Jeremy Grillo, but a great break on the ball by Garabato. Makes the play, and then doesn't quite make the play.
How many times will he replay this the rest of his life?
Especially if they don't win the football game. It'll be a highlight.
It's punting time for Clinton Cower and Kamiakin. A nice kick, fair catch at the 28-yard line by number 41, Mike Cadwell. So what do you say now after a 47-yard punt? That's a nice stab, but once again, the offense of Kamiakin goes nowhere fast.
This is a big play type offense, and you've seen Curtis defend it very, very well. They haven't been sending a lot of people. Their good defense against the passing game has not necessarily been because of the pressure they're putting on the quarterback. It's just because they're playing man-to-man defense. They always play man-to-man defense, and they're playing it extremely well.
3:26 to go, first quarter. It's 14-0 Curtis. They have the ball, first down and 10 on their own 28-yard line. Salter, he pitches out to Sam Gage. He'll pick up about 4 yards. 4 of over 1,400 that he's had so far this season.
He's a very good high school running back. He's averaging 126 yards a game, 8.5 yards per attempt, 18 touchdowns. Talk about speed. We've given you some numbers. We'll give you a couple of stats now.
You can see how fast they've started off their games against opponents so far this season. As we move to a 2nd down and 5 situation for the Vikings as they shift. It's Gage and Baker with the running backs behind Salton. The fumble. The ball's kicked around. It's going to be picked up by the Braves. It's number 30, Scott Kuklinski, who fumbles it again. And it's recovered by Clinton Cower for the Kamiakin Braves. I'm sure that Craig Beverlin, if I can look up into the stands and see him, he probably had a little bit of heart palpitation on that one there, but a great break for the Braves.
Yeah, you feel good about the play that you make. You get the break when the center exchange is botched by Curtis, and then Kuklinski, see him looking for 6 as well, picks his head up, then picks the ball up. Elijah Baker gets the ball out, it stays in bounds, and then Damon Lusk gets the 2nd fumble recovery. Nothing like high school football when you talk about the excitement. Nita Wiggins.
It seems that the Kamiakin crowd now has something to cheer about. They are on the 25-yard line, getting ready to score if everything goes the way they are expecting. I talked to the athletic director, who told me that when the team was down 2 losses with only 2 wins this season, the team members came together and said, we will rally and turn the season around. That is what they did, and we'll see what they do on this drive. They are now, it seems, marching toward the goal line.
All right, 1st down and 10. The first play was a situation where the quarterback went back to pass Chuck and couldn't find anybody open, and it's time to keep the ball.
Well, as you said, he's a big kid. He's also a smart kid. Makes good decisions right here. Tries to make something out of nothing. Almost ran the delayed option to Nick Freeze. He does a good job of not turning it over in a situation like that, getting in the crowd.
All right, Mike Cadwell's 4th tackle. Now it's Mitchell handing off to Freeze. A big hole up the middle, but it's closed quickly by the defense of the Curtis Vikings, led by Lance Baldwin. Nice stop by him to prevent a 1st down.
There you just see the isolation play for Kamiakin. They line up with 2 backs that time. Freeze is deep in the eye, just run the straight dive play, led by fullback Mike Thompson. Picks up pretty good yardage, but when you're in a 2nd and long situation, You'd like to pick up more than 6. 3rd and 4 now for Kamiakin.
1:10 to go, first quarter. A big play for the Braves here if they want to get back in this ball game early in the contest. It's Mitchell calling out signals. Quick handoff up the middle. It goes nowhere. A nice job by Jeff Cowart to stop that one, and he's pumped up. Also, Mike Thompson helped out on that.
Try to run the quick trap up the middle. Catch Curtis coming a little bit, but again, Curtis has got some big boys up front. They've got some speed in the back, and there's nothing there for Mike Thompson. So here's a situation. We talked about having a kicker that can really help your football team. Here's a situation where Kamiakin would like to get some points on the board. You're looking at about a 36-yard field goal from here, but they don't have a guy that's consistent from here, and so they're going for it.
They don't have a Chuck Nelson, so it's 4th and 3, and it's going to be a passing situation for Mitchell. He goes back. He rolls to his right. He cuts back to the left. He's looking for the first down mark, and now he throws toward the end zone. It's a touchdown! Kamiakin. Number 81, Jeremy Grillo. A great catch in the back of the end zone. And wow, the Braves are all of a sudden right back in this ballgame, Chuck.
When your quarterback is scrambling, it's all about offensive linemen scrambling with him, staying with their blocks. You see the blitz from Curtis. Lance Baldwin gets picked up. Mitchell does a tremendous job of staying alive, and Grillo does a great job of finding a hole in that defense behind B.J. Robinson. A good job by Grillo. Robinson is their go-to guy, but Grillo has made some big plays. As you see Eric Mackey tack on the extra point for Kamiakin. Grillo caught the 50-yarder that won the semifinal game against Cascade, and he catches the opening touchdown for Kamiakin in the championship game.
15 seconds to go in the first quarter, and let's go down to Nita Wiggins. Nita, they've got to be excited down there.
That's right. We've got Jeremy Grillo, as you mentioned, that 50-yarder. Jeremy, tell us about this catch. It gave you guys your first points in the state final. What do you think?
I think it's great. We're not done yet. We got a lot more points put on the board before the game's over.
You made a tremendous leap to pull that in. Talk about the pass and the catch.
We just got time. Scott found the open man, and it helped us out.
Okay, thanks a lot. We'll talk to you later on. Back upstairs.
Thanks a lot, Nita. As you can tell, Jeremy Grillo, all business. You're still down. It's early, but you've got that momentum swing now, Chuck, that's really going to help the Braves maybe get a little more comfortable. And, you know, this is their first time playing indoors. I mean, Curtis played here last week. Maybe there's a little comfort zone involved there. This is a lot different. You know, I mean, the Tri-Cities have some great stadiums over there, but this is a different situation indoors at night on TV.
Well, Kamiakin did a great job of taking advantage of the turnover and the recovery by Kuklinski. Think about it, too. How much is traveling worth in terms of giving up points? This is a Kamiakin team that came a long way. It's got to have some sort of fatigue factor. When you're Curtis, you're only about 5 minutes away from here. Something on the board now for Kamiakin. A little bit of positive reinforcement for the Braves.
All right, the clock winding down here in the first quarter. That's Elijah Baker with a nice return, a nice move. Quick cross midfield to the 45 and wrestled out of bounds at about the 40-yard line by the kicker, Mackey, who was there just in time. Nice run by Elijah Baker, who's great out of the backfield, but he shows that he can run back kickoffs as well.
Yeah, saw the great run back by Kamiakin and Nick Freeze, and this time the ball on the ground, and Elijah Baker, actually not a deep guy, is lined up in the first wave. But when you've got a running back of his ability with the ball in his hands, he's going to make something happen. Offensively, you're trying to get Elijah Baker in a situation like that with lots of open space. If you can get it on a kickoff return, obviously there's lots of open space, and Elijah Baker took advantage of it.
A 41-yard return for the junior. Let's give the ball to Sam Gage. Final play of the first quarter. He picks up about 4 yards, and that'll do it here in the first quarter as the Kamiakin Braves pull a bit of a comeback. But overall, Curtis feels in pretty good shape. That's it. The end of the first quarter here at the WIAA U.S. Bank Gridiron Classic. There's your score. Curtis 14, Kamiakin 7. We'll be right back. For a first down. So here's the situation with 11:50 to go before halftime. Curtis up by 7 points, has a first down inside the 30.
Keep the drive alive. Good field position as a result of the kickoff return. You've got the 14-7 lead. You've hit a couple of big plays, one in the running game, one in the passing game. You see you're dominating the game from the line of scrimmage in terms of total yards. You don't need to get 30 yards on every play. Just get what we can get, make some first downs.
All right, once again, it's Baker, David Baker. This time, he goes nowhere. It looked like the same play as before. Jonathan Reddick. It's Johnny on the spot.
Flag on the play, but a great play by Jonathan Reddick. When you're running a slow developing play in the backfield, it's penetration that's going to kill you. A holding call against Curtis in addition to the sack, and Kamiakin will take the penalty.
Well, you lose 3 yards, and you can take the penalty and give them another down, or take the yards. They're going to take the yards.
In this case,
another down.
Holding.
Take the field position.
Offense. Still first down.
So a break for the Braves, and Curtis has been shooting themselves in the foot after building a 14-0 lead. A big turnover, and that penalty cost them right there, as now it's first down and 23 yards to go. Matt Salzman under center. He's got 3 receivers out to the right-hand side. He looks to the right, and he hits Terry Tharps. Terry hits off to the 30, the 25. Some nice moves down to the 22-yard line, just about 2 yards short of a first down.
Well, we talked about the speed in the backfield, Sam Gage and Elijah Baker, but also speed at the wideout position. Terry Tharps, along with Elijah Baker and Sam Gage, part of the 400-meter state relay championship team. You've got a guy like that on the wide wing. Just get the ball out to him and let him do something. This time he just runs around Scott Kuklinski, who loses leverage, and you got to turn those guys back. Your help is inside.
Kevin Dionis made the tackle for the Kamiakin Braves. Second down and 2. It's a handoff to Gage. He finds a big hole. The 15, the 10, the 5. Touchdown, Vikings! Sam Gage. Nice run. A 21-yard touchdown run by Sam Gage. And now the Vikings lead 20-7. Chuck, what a great dominant run and some great blocking.
Well, if you're going to run the ball outside, it's nice to pin guys inside. And the blitz this time came from Kamiakin, and everybody gets caught inside, and it's just Gage getting around the outside. Good, very well blocked play.
Once again, Nick Lentz will try for the extra point for the Vikings. It's up, and it is good. With 10:51 left in the first half, once again, the Vikings have built up a 14-point lead. It's now 21-7. And Gage is one of these college prospects who's really powerful runner, tough to bring down, but as you said, a great job by the offensive line to give him those big holes.
You get everybody stuck inside, and you get outside. The offensive linemen do a great job of pinning everybody inside, and Curtis, 21-7 over Kamiakin.
Stay with us. We'll be back with more from the Tacoma Dome right after these words.
There's never been a better time to own a new Ford Windstar. Because right now, you'll get up to $1,000 cash back from Ford when you buy or lease a new 96 Windstar with standard dual airbags and ABS. Or save on your interest payments by choosing low 4.9% APR financing. Hurry to get up to $1,000 cash back from Ford or low 4.9% financing. Test drive a Windstar today, only at your Northwest Ford dealer.
It was his greatest dream.
We're gonna walk on the moon, Marilyn.
And his final flight.
Welcome aboard, Apollo 13.
But when the unimaginable happened...
We've got a problem here. Houston, we have a problem.
It became his finest hour.
How long does it take to power up the LEM?
3 hours by the checklist.
We don't have that much time.
Tom Hanks.
Fire when ready. Ignition.
A Ron Howard film, Apollo 13. Available on video cassette for $22.98. Look for the Tropicana Pure Premium $5 mail-in rebate offer.
All right, let's welcome you all back to Tacoma and watch that touchdown one more time. Sam Gage, what a great move. Chuck, he's a good-looking runner.
Well, again, you get people caught inside, and you see Sam Gage, who gets a look at a little bit of turf. Great lead block. Look at big Calvin Gwynn get upfield and just absolutely level Carl Chassis. Put Chassis on his chassis.
All right, it's time for the kickoff. Here's Nick Lenz. A nice boot back to the 5-yard line. Robinson takes it for Kamiakin to the 15. He's to the 19-yard line. And quickly, let's send it down to Bill Rocky. Bill, do you have somebody down there?
Sam Gage and Sam, they came back with a touchdown, but you got one right back, and now you're up 21-7.
Yeah, it's just that Kamiakin's playing the inside run, playing the 4 holes, playing the 2 holes. And just make a couple moves on the sweeps, buck sweeps, power sweeps, and then turn on the afterburners and we scored.
You feel pretty good about how things are going so far?
Yeah, I feel real good. We're going to have a great night tonight.
Okay, Kamiakin is worried about that team speed, and so far, Curtis is showing a lot of that.
Thank you, Bill. First down and 10, Kamiakin, 10:19 to go in the first half. Mitchell He hands it off to Freeze. Freeze powers past the 20 and gets all the way up to near the 25-yard line. Nice effort by Nick Freeze. He's quite a load to bring down, though. Nick Freeze, wears number 32, is 6'2", 185, Chuck.
Well, when the running game for Kamiakin is basically Nick Freeze, they average 341 yards per game. Total offense, Nick Freeze, obviously a big part of that, 117 yards per game.
Unofficially, Mike Cadwell, number 41 for Curtis, with his 5th tackle already tonight. He's been all over the field for the Viking defense. Second down and 5 for the Braves. It's Mitchell rolling to his left, turns and throws. He sees Robinson, a nice play. He's out of bounds at the 33-yard line. First down, Braves. Nice catch.
Again, Curtis always plays man-to-man defense. When you're playing man-to-man, you're always thinking about getting beat deep, so sometimes you give up a pretty good cushion in front of you. Good protection from Mitchell, rolls to the play side. Nice route by Robinson in front of Ryan Ferguson. This is an offense that can really get cranked up, take what the defense gives you. That, in this case, they're giving up the out.
All right, first down Braves on their own 33. Mitchell hands off to Freeze, bumps outside. Not a lot of blockers. He will end up trying to turn the corner out of bounds at about the 39-yard line. A nice individual effort by Nick Freeze. He had no help out there.
The play stuffed at the point of attack. Try to run the trap up the middle, but Jeff Cowart, number 8 for Curtis, steps right up into the hole. See him right there. Takes on the blocker. Forces Freeze to get outside, and surprising speed from Nick Freeze. Does get the corner turned on Gabe Garabato. Picks up 5 yards on the play.
All right, Chuck, it's second down and 5. Kamiakin on their own 39-yard line here with 9:23 left in the first half. Trailing 21-7. They've got to get some offense going. They go to Freeze. He goes nowhere. There's number 2, Jonathan Reddick. Lance Baldwin does a good job for the Curtis Vikings to tackle him for about a 3-yard loss.
Try to run the counter tray play where the offside linemen pull over to the play side. Try to get some big bodies out in front of it. How do you defeat that play if you're the defender? Shoot through the hole that those big bodies left, and that time Lance Baldwin made the play, made the penetration, and made the stop.
One thing about Kamiakin, they were running no huddle. Now they're back in huddles, but they're very, very short. So they're still in a hurry-up situation. They have been the entire game. And now it's a 3rd down and 8 situation. I would imagine he's going to pass. Let's see what he does. Back to pass. He's got plenty of time. Once again looking for Robinson, but overthrown, incomplete. Robinson a little bit upset, thought he was interfered with.
Looking for the flag. Ryan Ferguson, the defender, number 25, breaking on the play, kind of rode the back a little bit of Jay Robinson there. I'm not sure it had a whole lot to do with the play, but Jay Robinson thinks it had a lot to do with the play. The Curtis defense is really shutting down both the running game and the passing game. Man-to-man coverage has been largely effective.
By the way, if you're a fan of the O'Day football team or Prosser or any of the other teams that played today, highlights at halftime coming up, so make sure you stay with us. An exciting day for the Irish of O'Day. Curtis with the ball. It's number 41, Mike Codwell, who not only has 5 tackles on the day, but he also ran back that kick. With the score, Curtis leading 21-7 from the Tacoma Dome. It's the WIAA U.S. Bank Gridiron Classic. We'll be back with more right after this.
Ball is marked at the 35.
This is your
guy we've been mentioning, Jonathan Reddick, once again came up in his DB spot to help stuff that ball. Here we go, second down, 8.5 yards to go. Matt Salzman, the quarterback for the Vikings, takes the handoff. He's in trouble. Here he is, number 31, Dan Wright.
Fumble on the play as well.
It looks like they call the ball down, and Curtis will retain possession.
Good hustle by James Bowser to get back and make the recovery, but Jonathan Reddick on the weak side coming to the back of Matt Salzman, Dan Wright, number 31. Bowser just can't get out there to make the block, but does a good job of recovering to make the play on the fumble, but nonetheless a big loss.
They keep the ball. I didn't see if it actually was a member of the Vikings who retained possession of that ball. Bottom line, they have it back. 3rd down and 16 to go on their own 28th. And it's Salzman back to pass. Goes across the middle. A nice job of defense by Kevin Dionis, the 5'9", 156-pound senior, to end that Curtis drive and maybe get that momentum going again for the Braves, Chuck.
Terry Tharps from his wide receiver spot on the post route. A great break on the ball by Kevin Dionis. Again, we know about the speed of Terry Tharps. These Kamiakin guys, you don't see a whole lot of numbers on their speed, but I talked to Terry Ennis, the Cascade coach who got beat by them last week, and he says, it doesn't say that 40 speed fast, but I know our fast guys weren't getting away from him, so they must be fast too.
Lucy with a low line drive, wobbles out of bounds, actually stays in bounds, bounce back toward, got a nice bounce actually. Once again, the ball will finally stop at just about the 33-yard line. And Chuck, as a former kicker, you know exactly how to add these things up quickly. How long of a kick was that?
Got a 39-yard punt right there.
Howard Bogey agrees, our official stat person here, who's doing a great job for us tonight.
Lucy's doing a great job of putting topspin on those babies. I got to talk to him a little bit, see if I can work that into my driver a little bit, and see if I can get the ball to roll.
What's your handicap now?
My golf handicap is a 2.
That's fantastic. Chuck Nelson.
I got a number of other handicaps as well.
All right, here we go. The Braves trying to come back. Hand off to Freeze. A little bit of an opening. He gets to the 35 before he's brought down by a couple of Curtis Vikings, including Lance Baldwin and number 44, B.J. Robinson.
Again, there's that counter tray, and there's Nick Freeze thinking he can get around the corner, but the speed of Curtis doesn't let him around that corner on the Kamiakin sideline. Nita Wiggins.
Yeah, I just talked to the Kamiakin coaches. The defensive coaches are shaking their heads as they are again down by 2 touchdowns. One of the coaches said to me, speed is killing our team in the second half and in the rest of the second quarter. They will try to solve that speed deficit that Curtis has. Now back up to the booth.
Curtis has some great speed. I'll tell you what, here comes Mitchell. He's going to throw deep. He has an open receiver. It's number 99, Jay Robinson. A nice grab and a big gain for the Braves. A huge play. They really needed that one.
Well, just when we talk about speed and give credit to Curtis for having speed, you see Jay Robinson getting behind those speedsters from Curtis. Good protection again, roll out a little bit, try to create a moving pocket to negate some of that speed, and a good throw by Scott Mitchell.
Had to wait for it just a little bit, but the ball was there, and a nice catch and a big play for the Kamiakin Braves from Kennewick, Washington's first down on the 29-yard.
Situation there, too, where you've got the wide receiver on a linebacker, B.J. Robinson. You should have a speed advantage.
5:01 to go, second quarter. Mitchell gets the ball away in time to number 21, Mike Thompson. And Thompson stays up, a little second effort there, but ends up with no gain on the play. Ryan Ferguson, good job on defense.
Good play call by Craig Beverland and Kamiakin. Against the pressure, dump it to the outside a little bit. But good recovery by Curtis, and a good job by Mike Thompson of keeping his feet. You see the numbers on Scott Mitchell. Again, we've got 4.5 minutes to go in the second quarter, and they've already thrown the ball 13 times. It is their bread and butter.
Great percentage, 10 out of 13 and a touchdown. Second down and 10 at the 30. There's a handoff to Freeze. He's got some room. But immediately, the speed of the Curtis defense, you can just see it converge on Freeze, who's a big back, but he's not a speedy back, Chuck.
Well, when you're throwing the ball effectively, it sure makes it nice for your running game as well. If you can throw the ball outside, they have to respect the outside, and you can run plays like the draw to Nick Freeze and get some positive yardage. We talked about Scott Mitchell and his great percentage. He's a 60% passer. He also takes very good care of the football. This year, 21 touchdown passes for Scott Mitchell, only 3 interceptions. That's an incredible touchdown to interceptions ratio.
3rd and 7, Mitchell. Pass just overthrown to number 81 for the Kamiakin Braves, Jeremy Grillo. And it's another 4th down situation. Okay, Coach Nelson, it's 4th down and 7. You're inside the 30. Like you say, the field goal kicker is not at the par of the Curtis kicker. What you going to call it?
This part of the field, you've obviously, you go for it, because if you don't get it, if you punt the ball from here 5 times out of 10, you're only going to get 7 yards net on getting the ball to the 20. So your best chance here is to go for it. They line up this time in a 2 tight end, 1 back formation. Look for something to the out route to Grillo on the right side.
Grillo or possibly Robinson. Here's Mitchell rolling to his right. He's looking for Grillo. Grillo, the corner, is just knocked away. A great defensive play by B.J. Robinson. He takes the helmet off. He's excited about what he just did. He saved a touchdown, Chuck.
You talk about making a break on the ball if you're a defensive player, and that's what B.J. Robinson did there. From his slot position, it's Grillo on the corner route. The ball thrown right on time, but a great recovery by B.J. Robinson. Gets that gloved left hand up there. Jeremy Grillo thinking, hey, I've got my second touchdown of the ball game. B.J. Robinson says, get out of here, ball.
Ecstasy for B.J. Robinson, and what frustration for Grillo. He could see the ball coming. He could see he was in the corner of the end zone there, just inside the mark. But now it's Curtis Ball. First down on their own, 28, 3:30 to go in the second quarter. Sam Gage tries to get outside, turns back in, and he's stopped by the Braves, by Reggie Wageman and number 1, Jeremy Eubanks, also there for the Braves.
A good recovery by the defensive end, Reggie Wageman, to stay outside. We talked about keeping that speed inside. Gage thought he had the corner turn there, but the 170-pound sophomore from Kamiakin, Wageman, made the play. They start 2 sophomores in their defensive line. You're asking a lot of a couple of sophomores against a team that runs the ball this effectively.
Well, there's a timeout on the field, and whether you're watching us in Paulsbo or Pullman tonight, we hope you're enjoying this WIAA US Bank Gridiron Classic, the first ever state championship of high school football in this state from the Tacoma Dome. It's a new era, Chuck, and overall, the reviews have been positive today.
18 years of Kingbowl up in the King Dome. A great place as the season goes on for high school football players to dream about playing. They see that Seahawk logo in the middle of the field and the emblems, the big diamond vision screen up at the one end, and it's a great place to dream about playing a championship football game. It's probably not the best place to actually play a football game. This facility is a lot more intimate. Players can see the faces of their fans, and fans are much closer to the field when you've got 10 or 12,000 people in this building, as we probably have here tonight. And it looks like a big crowd versus 40,000 empty seats in the King Dome.
That's right. You hear so much about the high cost of going to sporting events nowadays. All 5 games today was $10. $2 a game. That's not bad for the family value. Some great entertainment today and some exciting games. More on that at halftime, but right now it's Curtis. Second down. It's the pitch to Elijah Baker. He's at the 25 to 30. It's a little hole up to the 32-yard line. He'll be about 4 yards short of the first down.
You're not going to get a bunch of yards unless you've got some good people blocking. And we see Elijah Baker block for Sam Gage a lot. This time you see Sam Gage out in front of Elijah Baker. You also see big number 75, Calvin Gwynn, 5'9", 220 pounds, picking him up and putting him down and putting Curtis in a 3rd and 5 situation. A good run by Baker.
Matt Salzman hands it off to Gage. Off tackle play. He gets up to, I think he's just about a half a yard short of that first down. It's going to be pretty close. We'll have to wait and see where the officials place the ball. They're going to say 4th down and about a yard to go, Chuck.
To talk about decision time on 4th down, it's pretty easy when you're down driving in the opponent's end of the field, down in this part of the field. But when it's back at your own end, Bob Lucy says, hey, with a 14-point lead, let's make them come and beat us. Only 2 minutes to go in the half. Let's punt the ball and give them a long field. And so he sends son Mike Lucy out to do the punting.
And Mike Lucy, of course, is Matt Salzman's backup quarterback. They battled at the start of the season. And right now, it looks like they're moving up Lucy at quarterback. Now, will he shift into the punting situation? Yes, he will. He'll go back and will become the punter.
Trying to draw Kamiakin offside. Good discipline by Kamiakin.
And it was a good idea by the Viking coaching staff. The punt, not too bad. It goes picked up at about the 34-yard line by Mike Thompson. He goes nowhere. Some great pursuit of the special teams of the Curtis Vikings.
31-yard punt from Lucy. You've got a situation now that Kamiakin will take over on their own 34-yard line.
Number 59, Mike Bowser, comes in here. Does a nice job.
A good
tackling.
finish on the play. Well by Gunnar Gehring, the Rigner center.
Pardon me, Chuck. Now it's hurry-up time with 1:12 to go in the first half.
For these guys, it's always hurry-up time. No huddles, nothing new to them.
So they're used to running it. And Mitchell back to pass. He's in big trouble. Can you believe Lance Baldwin back there along with number 22, Justin Corley.
On the touchdown play, Baldwin came on the blitz and got picked up. This time when you've got Kamiakin in an almost sure passing situation, you blitz again, and this time Kamiakin does not pick it up. You see a good disguise of the blitz by Baldwin, didn't tip it off at all. Now if you're Kamiakin, the choice you make is the clock is running and you've got 2nd and long. Are we going to take the chance on the turnover, or are we just going to run the ball and go in at halftime and talk about this 14-point deficit?
Deuce is wild. 2nd down, 22 on the 22 in the 2nd quarter, down by 2 touchdowns. And so it's a handoff up the middle. Let's run out that clock and go into the locker room as Brian Bassage makes the stop for the Vikings of Curtis. They've got to feel real good. Bob Lucy, who's won 2 state championships in 1989 and 1990, now just 2 quarters away from a 3rd. As the clock winds down to 0 here in the first half. At the first ever AAA final in the Tacoma Dome, the score is Curtis 21, Kamiakin 7. And you know that Bob Lucy is feeling pretty good about it right now in the situation that's going on in the first half. I know that Bill Rocky's going to try to latch on to him. We'll see if he does. Let's go down to Bill Rocky right now. Bill, let's talk to Bob.
Okay, Bob, so far things are looking pretty good. Your offenses look great.
I'm pleased with where we are right now. We got to come out and play the second half. You know, a team like Kamiakin come over here is going to play a lot better in the second half, and we got to get back and just stay at what we're doing, and we're playing real well defensively and offensively. You know, I think we're doing some real good things.
There is an uneasy feeling. They did get that 1 touchdown, and they're not going away.
No, they're not, and that's why we got to be ready. I mean, anytime you can throw the ball like they throw it, you mean the game is never out of reach, and you can't be comfortable at 21-7.
Okay, right now the Vikings 2 quarters away from another state championship, but they got a lot of work to do.
Thank you very much, Bill Rocky. There's the score. You see it on the screen. The Curtis Vikings 21, Kamiakin 7. And we will return with more from the Tacoma Dome. High school championship football. Exciting night for a lot of young people, and exciting night for their families as well. Stay with us. More coming.
The WIAA U.S. Bank Championship Halftime Report, brought to you by
Back to the Tacoma Dome, and if you're the Curtis Vikings, you're feeling pretty confident in that locker room right now, up 21-7. Ron Callan alongside Chuck Nelson. And Chuck, the first half really, I mean, Curtis was dominant. In fact, it was a turnover by Curtis that really helped out Kamiakin.
Well, you really saw what you expected to see from Curtis. You saw some tremendous speed. You saw a great running game. You saw a big play in the passing game from Curtis, but it really came off of the play fake. The running game set that up as well. From Kamiakin, you saw glimpses of what they're able to do. You saw Scott Mitchell. You saw how talented he is. You saw their ability to throw the ball. And as Bob Lucy said, you can't relax when you're playing Kamiakin with only a 2-touchdown lead.
Well, this game, Curtis and Kamiakin, just one of 5 contests played here inside the Tacoma Dome today. Some exciting affairs, including that big O'Day Prosser man.
And we're just a couple of minutes away from the start of the second half. But let's take a look at some first half highlights. First, the Vikings scored early on a 13-yard run by David Baker, then got the ball back again. Matt Salzman to Jake Sampson, 61-yard touchdown play. Curtis, averaging 31 points a game, jumped ahead 14-0 in the first quarter, but the Braves, playing indoors for the first time, came back. Scott Mitchell, he scrambles, he gets loose, he throws the pass to Jeremy Grillo for a touchdown to close the gap to 14-7, and that was a 4th down play, but the Vikings weren't finished yet. At the Braves' 21-yard line, it's Sam Gage making it happen around the right side. Gage goes 21 yards for the score. Curtis builds a 21-7 halftime lead. Curtis up by 2 touchdowns, but as you know, anything can happen in high school football. In college football today, the Central Washington Wild.
Welcome back to Tacoma, Washington, the AAA finals. The big question is, how can Kamiakin come back from a 21-7 deficit? Let's go down to the Brave sideline and Nita Wiggins. Nita?
Standing here with defensive coordinator Tim Lauer. He's going to tell us what you said in the locker room at the half to get the team back into this game.
Well, Curtis is an awful good football team. They've got some great speed. They've got 2 backs that both of them can hurt you real quick. We had a little trouble with the motion and the seam pass down the middle, and we had a little trouble with that off tackle play. Our kids were rattled just a little bit. We seem to settle down, a lot better so the second quarter. Our kids will never quit. This was a score at the end of the first half against CV. We'll get back in. We get a little offense, get some points on the board. Our kids start believing a little bit. They'll catch fire. We got to stop the off tackle play. Things seem to be a lot better for us here second quarter. Hope we continue in that mode.
Okay, thanks a lot, and we're going to keep an eye on that.
All right, thank you very much, Nita. Now, earlier this afternoon and this evening, we had a chance to Chuck Nelson had a chance to talk to the executive director of the WIAA, Mike Colabrese.
Mike, obviously the biggest change is after 18 years of King Bowls, for the first time we're in the Tacoma Dome for the championship game, the Gridiron Classic.
That's right, Chuck. And, you know, we've been here for a number of years with the semifinal events, state basketball, state wrestling, state gymnastics. We're here for the next 5 years for Gridiron Classic at least, and with the start of things, it's really been really done well.
The Tacoma community has really rallied and really was really a big part of bringing the big event to the Tacoma Dome.
Really, Chuck, if it wouldn't have been for the Tacoma community being involved with the process to get the event here, it would have never happened. They just rallied around the event. It's been a complete community involvement, which is really neat.
And so far, so good. Congratulations on the move, Mike. Thanks for taking some time.
Thank you, Chuck.
U.S. Bank has worked with WIAA programs for some time. At an O'Day practice, our multi-talented producer Dick Jacoby asked U.S. Bank Senior Vice President Dan Doyle about the bank's partnership with the Washington Interscholastic Activity Association. Dan started by telling us how long the bank's been involved with high school activities.
Yeah, U.S. Bank has been a proud sponsor of the WIAA. 88,000 students, which is 370 plus high schools in the state are participating.
And how does the U.S. Bank financial support
in these tight budgetary times for the schools to be able to afford and put on activities like the football championship?
Of Curtis and those rushing yards, obviously the difference in the ball game with Kamiakin trailing by 14 points.
Here we go, the start of the third quarter in Tacoma, Washington, at the big dome here, as Robinson takes it for the Braves to the 25, to the 30, the 35-yard line up to the 38. A nice return to start the third quarter for this team from Kennewick, trying to come back from a 2-touchdown deficit.
You're looking for something as you start the third quarter.
U.S. Bank halftime report brought to you by U.S. Bank, proud supporters of high school football.
You're looking for something.
Scott Mitchell, the quarterback for the Kamiakin Braves. Back to pass, scrambling, in trouble. He goes down, about an 8-yard loss. A nice job of pursuit by the Curtis Viking defense, Chuck.
Well, again, you're looking for something to give you some momentum to start the third quarter. You get a pretty good kickoff return. You get a little momentum. You feel like you've got a chance to do something. Then you give up a sack on the first play. This Curtis team is not going to quit. This is a team that suffered one defeat on the year. That was really a wake-up call for them. And I think that they can smell the blood in the water a little bit. They want that third championship. No school has ever won 3 AAA championships. Curtis wants to be the first.
Second down and 17, and Mitchell in big trouble. Just gets the ball away in time. Once again, the Curtis defense, Johnny on the spot in there. That was number 87, Brian Bassage, who was causing all the problems for Mitchell.
Well, again, when you've got a 2-touchdown lead against a team that likes to pass anyway, you know they're going to pass, and so you're going to send a lot of bodies. And in this case, Brian Bassage does a great job of defeating his man as the screen tries to set up. If you're setting up a screen, you like to allow a little bit of pressure, but that speed by Bassage got to Mitchell a little bit before he had intended.
Third and long. How about 3rd and 17 for the Kamiakin Braves, down by 2 touchdowns. They need to make something happen now. Mitchell running away from pursuit, will throw it deep, and there's nobody out there. It's going to be a 4th down, a kicking situation for the Braves in the white and red uniforms, moving from our right to our left here in the third quarter.
Again, the blitz on 3rd down and long. You know you've kind of got him hung out. Mitchell tried to make the big play to Robinson down the sideline. Curtis not going to give up the big play with the 2-touchdown lead in a 3rd and long situation, so they're keeping everybody in front of them.
And there's the punt by number 4 for the Kamiakin Braves, Cower. And he gets a bad bounce. It actually goes off of one of the members of the special teams. Chris Jennings kind of hits him right in the chest, and the ball will be pronounced dead on the 39-yard line, a 28-yard punt. Not exactly what you wanted there.
Well, when you're covering a punt, you're always taught to find the ball, know where the ball is. Kenny that time found out in a hurry where the ball was when it caught him right in the schnoz. This is almost exactly where Curtis started their first drive. This part of the field, it's that field position. He showed you a time of possession number. A lot of that in favor of Kamiakin, largely because of the field position that Curtis had. They didn't have to go very far to score their touchdowns.
Once again, good field position for the Vikings. Matt Salzman, 1st and 10 on their own 41. The handoff up the middle. It's Sam Gage, past midfield, into Brave territory, down to about the 44-yard line. 1st down, Vikings.
Yeah, 16-yard gain or 17-yard gain right off the bat. The quick hitter up the middle. Sam Gage, they call him Sudden Sam, and here you're going to see why. The trap block right there by Gwynn, the hole by Gage. Just pick him up and put him down. Use your speed, get into the backfield, pick up a 1st down.
Here come the Vikings once again. 1st down on the 44. Leading by 2 touchdowns, looking to increase their lead. It's Salzman once again handing off. This time it's Elijah Baker. A big hole. He's to the 30, the 25, and he's dragged down by the uniform. A tackle by Carl Chassie.
The big play up the middle. The first play from Sam Gage, this time off tackle. You see Sam Gage leading the hole, and Elijah Baker just stays on the backside of Sam Gage and gets into the backfield. Good strong tackle by Chassie, but not before the big gain. You see there's just bodies on bodies. The defensive line for Kamiakin not able to get off blocks.
Well, this time Salzman rolls out to his left and fooled nobody on that pass play. And this time it's the Kamiakin defense coming through in the clutch. Jonathan Rettig and Nathan Gladstone with a nice stop there. They've got to come up with something big now to get this game turned around, Chuck. It's a critical moment with 9:36 left, 3rd quarter.
Well, you heard the defensive coordinator for Kamiakin say we need to come out and do some good things. The kids were a little bit rattled. I think they're starting to rattle a little bit here again.
2nd down and 15. Salzman under center. Gage in motion. He'll get the ball. Gage, a nice nifty move up the middle, inside the 20, to the 15, to the 14-yard line. He's got some great moves.
A good quick feed on that play. Took it outside initially, made the read, took the cut back inside. You can see his lead blocker, Gwynn, left to the right. Sheds the tackle of Gladstone, stays light on his feet, keeps moving forward and heading towards the goal line. Sets up a 3rd down and 4 for Curtis.
This will be an interesting call by the Curtis offensive coaches. Let's see what they come up with. Will they run? Will they pass to David Baker, who split to the left? Gage in motion. And there's a whistle, and the penalty looks like maybe a delay of game. They didn't get that one off in time, Chuck.
You go from 3rd and 4 there to 3rd and 9. Again, you're a running team, and every yard makes a little bit of a difference.
Moving back 5 yards, it'll be 3rd and 9 from the 20. 8:34 left in the 3rd quarter. As the referee in the white hat there, Craig Rolstad, giving us the information there. So far, it's been not a lot of penalties tonight, which is kind of nice. There's Salzman with a 3rd and 9. There's Gage in motion. And to the right, back to pass. Salzman looking around, looking to the end zone. There's Cowart. He makes the catch. Touchdown, Vikings. Jeff Cowart. A great catch in a lot of traffic.
If you're going to throw the ball into traffic, throw it to a guy that's 6'5". Matt Salzman, again, a little play action because you're a running team, and then look for your big tight end, 6'5", 225 pounds. He's a big play type of receiver, averaging 23 yards per game, and you can see why. If you're in trouble and you're a quarterback, first option's gone. I think I'm going to look for the big fella. In this case, it's big fella for 6.
He's a big red-headed kid. He kind of reminds you of, remember Pete Metzelarge years ago, used to play with the Seahawks. Jeff Cowart is coming through in the clutch, and we've got a player who was injured for the Kamiakin Braves. Let's take a look. We don't see a number yet. We don't want to say who it is until we know for sure. Looks like someone in a lot of pain, and they're looking at the number 5 for the Kamiakin Braves. That, of course, would be Carl Chassie. And he's in a lot of pain, as you can tell. They look like they're dealing with the left ankle right now, Chuck. You've got the specs on him. What do you see?
I see a guy who is in a lot of pain.
Yeah.
Ankles are tough on this turf. Again, it's not the softest turf in the world. Doesn't help when your touchdown just gave up or your team just gave up a touchdown, and On the sideline, Bill Rocky with the trigger man.
All right, Matt Salzman with me, and you did not want to let them score coming out of the second half. You came out and got one back.
Yeah, that's what we wanted to do. We wanted to stop them once and then score again and try to put them away right away.
He made a nice catch there, helped you out.
Yeah, he did. I knew he could jump, and I knew he was tall, so I just threw it up and hope he caught it. My line gave me a lot of time, so that helped.
Okay, they're having a little trouble with the running game, too. You expected that a little bit, didn't you?
Yeah, we kind of did. We knew we could run the ball real well, so we just went out and did what we did all year long. So
it's not over yet, but they're looking pretty good so far.
All right, thank you, Bill. And if you saw those stats during Bill's interview with Matt Salzman, 4 out of 6 for 105 yards. He's very effective with the number of passes he's thrown.
Yeah, efficiency is the name of the game if you're Matt Salzman. Again, they only threw the ball for 24 yards in their semifinal game against Evergreen last week in this same stadium. So it's not a matter of, hey, we're indoors finally, let's throw the ball a lot because the weather's not a problem. They were here last week and didn't throw it, but 4 for 6, 2 touchdowns, 105 yards.
All right, let's go down to the Kamiakin sideline now. Anita Wiggins, what's the attitude over there right now?
Well, the main concern right now is that Kamiakin quarterback Scott Mitchell was banged up on the last possession. Now he is standing on the sidelines, but he had taken a seat just a moment ago and was talking with one of the team trainers. But will he be back in the game? Of course he will. He's a junior. He's a gamer. He doesn't want to miss any action, but he was visibly shaken, and he's now strapping on his helmet, getting ready to go back and do something about that 20-point deficit that his team has right now.
All right, well, the situation with Chassis is he's going to be helped off the field. Kamiakin's had a rough season of injuries. At one point, they were really hurting back during the 3rd game of the season when they were shut out by Walla Walla, 30-0, and then they lost to Kennewick 9-3. Let's watch and see what happened here, Chuck.
You get a look at number 5 right there. Just jumps to make the play and then comes down hard on that turf. Sometimes it's kind of tough to brace yourself and just gets the weight of his own body bending back over that lower left leg.
That one had to hurt, Chuck. That looks like a pretty rough one. Let's hope the best for Carl Chassis. And here's the extra point try by the Vikings. Nick Lentz puts it up. He's got a strong leg. He goes down on that kick, but it is good. And the score with 8:15 left, 3rd quarter, Curtis 28, Kamiakin 7. And if Scott Mitchell is hurting, as Anita Wiggins mentioned a little while ago, obviously that Scott Mitchell is a key to their offense.
This is your last chance to experience the Road Ranger, starring an unbeatable offer on America's #1 selling compact truck, Ford Ranger. You must hurry to take advantage of either $750 cash back or low 3.9% APR financing that could save you over $1,900. These are the final days to save over $1,900 on a new Ranger. Get down to your Northwest Ford dealer today.
Just put that smile on your face, and what's become your favorite place is the Robin. Ooh, Red Robin. Take your pick of a meal or a snack. Who wants to be sure that you'll be back? Come in often, come as you are. With lots of food and fun, you're never far.
Red Robin, where good times are served every day.
Who just put that smile on your face? Red Robin.
Welcome back to Tacoma, and if you're watching the game tonight in the Tri-Cities or in Eastern Washington, plenty of time left for your Kamiakin Braves to come back. 8:15 to go. This is your classic East versus West, and right now it's pretty much been all Curtis tonight here inside the Tacoma Dome. Of course, they play just a few miles from here. They practice and work out and go to school, so they're very used to this area. They played in here last week when they qualified, so they're used to playing indoors. A long trip over from the Tri-Cities, but as we mentioned, 8:15 to go here in this 3rd stanza as Nick Lentz gets set to kick off this football from the 40-yard line of high school ball. He kicks it, a line drive taken at the 6. Is there going to be a trick play? No. Robinson keeps it. He moves around to the 15. He gets to the 20. The 23-yard line, maybe the 24, as the Braves once again, here comes their offense.
You get a look there, though, at how Kamiakin is starting to think about ways to do some funky things, some ways to come up with some big plays. You fake the reverse on the kickoff. You're trailing by 3 touchdowns against a team that's been able to put points on the board almost every possession, Ron.
Well, both teams have had 8 drives, and in the 8 drives, Curtis has had 4 touchdowns, 3 punts, and a fumble. Kamiakin 1 touchdown, 4 punts, 2 lost on downs, 1 at halftime. So here comes Mitchell. He looks like he's okay. He hands off to Freeze, who trips over his own offensive lineman. Looks like he tripped over number 69. That would be Jason Rayner. So tough break for Freeze as the offense for the Braves continues to stumble.
Literally.
Yeah.
Literally and figuratively. Try to do something a little different. Curtis expecting the pass, run the ball to Freeze. Get some guys getting tangled up a little bit. Now you're in a situation where you're not going to fool anybody. You're just going to try to do what you do best and throw the football.
Mitchell back to pass. Look at the great run by number 9. There's a fumble and a scramble. Who's got it? It's Jake Sampson causing the fumble, and it's Curtis Ball. The defensive coach, the defensive back coach, Darren Ringenbaugh's got to be really happy with the way his DBs have played as they once again create a turnover and an opportunity.
Well, again, as I said, you know they're going to throw the ball, so let's send a lot of bodies after him. You get a look right there. Justin Corley coming from his linebacker position from the other side. It's Jake Sampson that makes the initial hit, and then the scramble for the football, and Curtis comes up with it. You can't do that any part of the field when you trail by 3 touchdowns deep in your own end of the field. It's deadly.
First turnover by Kamiakin, but a huge one with 6:50 to go in the 3rd quarter. This could turn into a rout now if the Vikings can take advantage. There's Elijah Baker. He gets a couple where he's stuffed by number 95 for the Braves. That, of course, is Patrick McCready and Jay Arve and Nathan Gladstone in there.
Good help from the linebacker position, too. Jonathan Reddick closing up to make the play. Curtis, that time, 2 tight ends, 2 running backs, only 1 wide out. With this kind of lead, this kind of field position, on 1st down, let's see what we can do with a power formation. Not enough, so let's spread the field a little bit.
They still can get the 1st down before they get a touchdown. It's 2nd and about 8 to pitch to Gage. Nice defensive stop by number 31, Dan Wright of the Braves. A great play in the backfield, and that was huge for the Braves.
Well, try the quick pitch, try to get outside. Dan Wright's not going to let him get outside. The 5'11", 190-pound junior stops Sam Gage. You can see both Elijah Baker and Aaron Dowd saying, I got him, no, you got him, you got him, no, I got him. Well, nobody got him, and then Dan Wright got Sam Gage.
All right, a big 3rd down and about 13 yards to go for the Vikings. Salzman over center, back to pass, looking to the right side. It is a touchdown for the Curtis Vikings. Ryan Wakefield makes the catch in the corner of the end zone. And the party continues for the Vikings, 34-7.
Matt Salzman now 3 touchdown passes on the night. Ryan Wakefield in man-to-man coverage on the right side. Just that fade route. Perfect throw to the back corner of the end zone. Pretty good coverage by Scott Kuklinski. Just a great throw. A case for Matt Salzman and Ryan Wakefield of, I'm going to throw it where you can get it and nobody else can. And number 1 for the Curtis Vikings sends his team that much closer to being number 1 in the state.
And it looks like he just had possession of that ball before he went out of bounds, as they call it a timeout. The Vikings are calling the timeout, leading 34-7. Little confusion on special teams. They want to make sure they get this 35th point.
Got everybody a little bit excited on the sideline sometimes. It's not quite easy to remember you're supposed to be on the football field. You get a look again at Scott Mitchell on the Kamiakin sideline. He was shaken up on the previous series. Certainly now adding a little bit of emotional pain to physical pain. This is a football team that came a long, long way. 2-2 to start the year. They had 8 of their starters out over the course of the first month of the season. Got everybody back, made a great playoff run. Beat some pretty good football teams on their way to the Gridiron Classic. Central Valley, Walla Walla in the quarterfinal round. They beat them 14-10 after getting beat by them in the regular season 30-0. So it's a team that has seen some highs and lows and certainly trending towards the low side in the Knights championship game.
There's Lentz for the extra point, 35-7 now. The Curtis Vikings seemingly in control with 5:29 to go in the 3rd quarter, but they've got to keep their focus. A lot of football is left here in the Tacoma Dome. There's your score, 35-7. We'll return to this first ever Gridiron Classic right after these words. Letting the WIAA US Bank Gridiron Classic here on Cairo TV, and Ron Callan with Chuck Nelson. And Chuck, it's been an entertaining ball game, but if you're a Curtis fan, you're feeling pretty darn confident right now.
It's been a lot more entertaining for the fans on our side of the field. We're in the blue and white than the other side of the field. Kamiakin people probably don't feel like they're getting their money's worth.
Probably the players feel a little shell-shocked. The score 35-7, 26 to go. That's Ryan Freese. Gets the ball almost to the 30-yard line. Stopped at the 28, where the Braves will take over with 5:23 to go. Plenty of time to get back in this if they get things moving. Charles Engelman with the stop for the Vikings, a 24-yard return.
A lot of speculation. See right here the yardage numbers. Kamiakin, when you're coming out in the second half, trailing by 2 touchdowns as they were at halftime, thinking let's do something positive and make something happen.
And look at that.
That's not the way to do it. And one thing that's your tough situation now is you've lost your starting quarterback. We showed you Scott Mitchell on the sideline. Damon Lusk is now your quarterback for Kamiakin.
6'1", 180, a senior, who also plays outside linebacker on defense, and quite a change for everybody when you've been relying on Mitchell all year long.
Well, you've got a quarterback that's made a bunch of great plays over the course of the year, and Scott Mitchell, you're in a situation now where he's banged up a little bit. He's only a junior. You've got a senior backup quarterback that you probably wouldn't mind seeing a little bit of playing time. Not that Craig Beverland's throwing in the towel at this point, but it certainly has to factor in your decision.
He hands off to Stephen Thompson, the fullback, who was doubtful for tonight because of an injury, but he takes his first carry of the evening, stopped by B.J. Robinson. Of course, Steve Thompson is 5'7", 200 pounds. He's quite a load to try to bring down.
Kind of the definition of leverage.
4:11 to go here in the third quarter. Curtis with a 28-point lead. Kamiakin trying to get back in this one with their backup QB. Lusk. It's third down and about 6. He keeps it, and he is about 2 yards short of the first down, and it's going to be a 4th down situation. Mike Codwell picks up his 7th tackle. He's one of the outstanding defensive performers tonight for Curtis.
Again, one of those great senior defenders for Curtis. You also see for Kamiakin basically saying Damon Lusk is not going to throw the ball. We don't do that very well with him. We'll run the option with this guy. And you see a great close on the play by Cadwell. He's a senior. He's got to be feeling pretty good. He's thinking about putting that patch on his leather jacket that says state champs.
Going for it on 4th down. Here's Freese, and he will get the first down and keep this drive alive. That was a big play for the Braves to keep going here in the third quarter.
Well, not a whole lot to lose. You're going to have limited possessions, obviously. They had 8 possessions, a couple of possessions. Last possession, you're probably only going to have 3 or 4 more as the game goes on. We got to make them last and try to get some points out of them. Freese on the sweep left, just your basic toss sweep with Steve Thompson out front. Good enough for first down.
1st and 10 at the 42. 2:59 left in the third quarter. Here's Lusk. He is going to try to throw the ball. He lofts one deep for Robinson, who falls down on his own. No penalty. And a tough break for Robinson because that ball was out there near him.
The ball was in the air a long time, too. He had time to make the adjustment. But Curtis on defense is going to just start gap blitzing, basically sending guys through every gap. If it's a run play, we'll close the gap. If it's a pass play, we'll put pressure on a quarterback that hasn't played very much. And you can see the ball in the air, on the ground.
The timing with your receivers with the new quarterbacks, always a tough situation. Probably hasn't had that many reps. There's the option. Lusk, good second effort, gets up to about the 44.
A good job by Brian Bassage, what they call the tilt tackle. Kind of the weak side tackle for these Curtis Vikings to run down that option play from behind. If you're running the option to the right, you don't usually figure you got to handle defensive linemen on the left side. Nita Wiggins on the Kamiakin sideline.
Nita, are you down there?
The injuries are mounting over on the sidelines. We already talked about Scott Mitchell, and now here's the news on junior free safety Carl Chessie. Now, he was getting ice treatment on his left ankle. The team now tells me that it is a bruise on his tibia. Chassie's also wearing a bandage right above his right eye. He was cut on that touchdown that Kamiakin just gave up. It's not looking good on the sidelines as far as injuries, but we'll come back and tell you later if these players are doing any better.
Thank you, Nita. Of course, a bruise is a lot better than a break, obviously. That's good news as far as Chassis is concerned, but look what happened here, Chuck.
Well, Brian Bassage made the great play on the previous down, and you see it's just jailbreak time for Curtis and Brian Bassage, just the first of many Vikings that get to Damon Lusk. They went for it on 4th down previously and got it this time. 10 yards to go on 4th down, so they'll give the ball up. Gotta like these Curtis players. You've got a linebacker returning punts.
A nice punt by Cower. Caldwell lets it bounce. Then he's going to take it. He tried to fake out the defense a little bit. Thought they might let up, but nope. They were all over him, and he's tackled about the 19-yard line. Caldwell's quite a character as Matt Miles helps out on the stop for the Braves. Down by 28 points, and now they've got to think turnover. They've got to strip that ball whenever they can, because you know who's going to get it.
They're going to try to run the ball out. That's what they do. That's what they've done very well. 89 and 90 state championships for Curtis. Some pretty good football players out of Curtis. They've got 3 guys off of those teams playing professionally. Darren Pointer, Torrey Hunter, Signor Mobley, all playing professionally. Pointer and Mobley in Canada, and Torrey Hunter with the Houston Oilers as Elijah Baker explodes.
He could go. He could go. Number 1. Jeremy Eubanks finally stops him. But no, it is a touchdown. It's a stadium bounds, a touchdown for the Curtis Vikings. Nice job, and 81-yard run by Elijah Baker as he goes well over 100 yards in the night. A great run. He stays in bounds. Let's take another look at it, Chuck.
Again, motion by Sam Gage, some misdirection. Just the dive play. You break some tackles, showing good power at the line of scrimmage. Get into the backfield. We've talked about speed. You've seen a little bit of evidence of it. I think this is obviously the best evidence of it as you see Elijah Baker. Elijah Baker, touchdown maker.
Wow.
81 yards.
He tight ropes down that line there, stays in bounds. I thought he'd been pushed out, but he was in. And it's 41-7 as Curtis now is probably approaching some kind of a record situation as far as points scored as they knock up number 42. We will check the record books. Chuck's looking right now. We'll let you know as Curtis will break more than one record. They will become the first team to win 3 AAA championships. And Bill Rocky's down there with obviously a very happy and probably out of breath Elijah Baker.
Yeah, the latter, Ron. You're out of breath. What's going on?
My line gave me a great hole. So just sprinted through the hole. Just took off 80 yards up the field. All goes to my line. And to God, who's number 1. And everybody in my family, the crowd, everybody back there. Everybody. It's for Curtis, boy. Number 1, baby, number 1.
Yeah, I know you still got to finish out this game, but you guys got 42 points up there now. Is that going to do it?
I think it's pretty much done. I think we showed who's number 1 in the state this year. We tried to make a name for ourselves. We did it. Now it's time to celebrate tonight, y'all.
All right, coaches don't like teams celebrating in the 3rd quarter, but they can almost do it now, guys.
All right, 42-7. Elijah Baker, a funny interview. The guy was definitely out of breath, but very excited.
I want to hear him keep talking. I want to let him keep going.
What a great run. I mean, that was an exciting display of offense by Elijah Baker, and Curtis is in very good hands right now, very good shape.
We talked about maybe a record for points. Yeah, it looks like it. Juanita scored 41 in 1984, and that 81-yard scoring run, the longest run in AAA championship game history.
As the Braves get the ball and move it up to about the 33. The attendance tonight, 18,706. A nice crowd here in Tacoma to watch some great football by the club that plays their high school ball just a few miles from here. As Derek Mahulu makes the tackle for the Braves. Now, was that I didn't catch the first one. Is this the highest scoring game ever, or do we have a ways to go on
the
that?
Listing of since they started playing the King Bowl, or since 1973, the previous high was 41 by Juanita in 1984. Newport in 1992 scored 48 points on Puyallup as Curtis takes a timeout. Want to make sure they got enough bodies on the field.
So they are closing in on that record as well, something we'll keep an eye on as we move into the 4th quarter.
Got a minute 20 to go in the 3rd quarter. You've got to certainly going to get the chance You talk about momentum in the second half. Come out and protect your lead and hold your lead. Well, the last 3 possessions in this third quarter for the Curtis Vikings have all resulted in touchdowns.
Celebration time for the players and the fans. There's Sam Gage, who's cool, calm, and collected, stretching out, make sure he doesn't want to cramp up here in that fourth quarter. He wants to add to his stats as well, as the team from the west side of the state keeps dominating tonight in this first ever Gridiron Classic. Remember, before the game, Chuck, this is what you talked about. How's it worked out?
Well, obviously, the Curtis people have done a pretty good job. They've taken those keys, have started that engine, running the ball effectively. Obviously, defense pressure the quarterback. They've knocked out the starting quarterback and now have the backup quarterback in the game for Kamiakin. Spread the field and don't give up big plays. Haven't been able to spread the field very well. They did it a little bit on that 1 touchdown series. Don't give up big plays. I think an 81-yard touchdown run against you qualifies as giving up a big play. Tough night for the Braves.
Tough night for the Braves and a great night for the Curtis Vikings. 1st and 10. Here comes Nick Freeze. He'll pick up a few. Of course, Curtis had a great night, and 2:30 this afternoon. It was a great game for the Irish of O'Day as they beat Prosser, another East-West game that was won by the team from the west side, 35-14. O'Day, for the first time, Chuck, this year was behind as the guys from Prosser actually scored first. So
when you only give up 22 points through your first 12 games, it's kind of hard to be behind very often. It's an absolutely incredible football team up at O'Day.
Congratulations to them and the other winners here inside the Chrome Dome today as Nick Freeze takes off. He shows some speed. He's to the 40, the 35, the 30, the 25. And the Braves say, hey, we're not finished yet. We're coming back. And that's Nick Freeze, a nice run. Brian Bassett caught up with him finally.
44-yard gain on the run by Nick Freeze. You see the quickness at the point of attack. The senior says, I'm not going to go down without doing everything I can to keep my team proud, keep my team working hard.
Lusk remains the quarterback. It's 1st down and 10 on the 19 of the Vikings. 35 seconds to go here in the third quarter. Lusk, he lofts it deep into the end zone. It's intercepted by the Vikings. It's number 25, Ryan Ferguson. Nice job of playing defensive back in that one.
You're trying to make the big play through the passing game, create the jump ball situation. Jay Robinson, the wide receiver, one-on-one, split left. Lusk puts it up for grabs in the 6'2" Robinson versus the 5'9" Ferguson. The inside position by Ryan Ferguson timed his jump very well, and the scoring opportunity for Kamiakin goes for naught.
So as the third quarter nears an end, obviously Lusk, not the quarterback Scott Mitchell is as far as the arm goes. Both passes we've seen him throw have been the punt variety, if you want to be very frank about it.
He's in a tough situation.
All right, here come the Vikings. Some players who haven't had much time on the field. That's number 33, Charlie Engelman, who gets an opportunity to carry the ball. Oh, and there's a late flag coming in. Hope to see if this is a personal foul or a late hit. We'll have to wait and see. Jonathan Reddick made the stop for the Kamiakin Braves. Must have been a late hit.
Frustration taking effect on Kamiakin. Charlie Engelman, to get a look at Curtis coach Bob Lucy. Got to feel pretty good about what his football team has been able to do. A great play. You see both guards pull right there. James Bowser leading the way, and Charlie Engelman, who's racked up 500 yards on the season as a backup, a good quality backup. Look at these two guys pulling out in front. Boy, that looks like Forrest Gregg and Jerry Kramer in the old Packer days. And
60s.
Is that Charlie Engelman. You see the little bit of activity.
So he would have been Paul Horning, or would he have been Jim Taylor?
Jim Taylor.
Jim Taylor.
Okay. It's a 30 number.
Right.
Close enough.
Not Chuck Mersine, if you remember him.
You're older than I am, right?
Oh, well, a little. All right, here we go. Salzman. Hands up the middle. This time, it's number 9. It's Jake Sampson. He's going to go for 6, and there's the scoring record. They tie as a Newport. They have 48, and all they need is an extra point to be the highest scoring AAA team ever in a final.
44 yards. Share the wealth a little bit. Sam Gage and Elijah Baker have had their glory for the night. Charlie Engelman, the big running play previous to this one, and now let's give it to the junior, Jake Sampson. Just really well blocked. James Bowser once again makes the great play. And even your backup players know how to cover some serious ground. When you're Kamiakin and you're selling out, trying to make the big play, when you miss your initial opportunity, it's Jake Sampson, number 9 for 6.
Congratulations to Curtis. They now have scored a 49 point. That's never happened before in the history of the state championship finals in AAA play. 49-7. That's unofficial, but we believe that to be the case as the third quarter comes to an end. And that's the score. Curtis 49, Kamiakin 7. Chuck Nelson and I will return from the Tacoma Dome right after this. All right, welcome back to the Tacoma Dome, everybody. Ron Callan along with Chuck Nelson. Chuck, I didn't expect it to be a Curtis party after 3 quarters. I mean, let's face it, they're in total control.
I expected to see a lot of points on the board, but I expected to see them a little bit more evenly distributed. Nick Lentz, the kicker for Curtis, is probably going to cramp up. A lot of activity for him tonight.
All right, well, here come the Braves. Number 21, Mike Thompson with a nice move. He's still going. He's finally brought down, and there's a little claim of a stolen ball by the Curtis Vikings, but referee says no. And as the players come on the field, let's thank our stat crew already tonight: Howard Bogey, Don Bogey, Dan Guzzo, and Joe Guzzo. And at the same time, let's head downstairs to the Rock, Bill Rocky.
All right, once again with Jake Sampson. Jake, you guys just broke a scoring record for the championship. That must feel pretty good.
Yeah, it feels real good. I can't believe we came out. Just our offense and defense have been to put together. Finally playing 4 quarters of football. And hey, what can I say? We're just scoring the points, just having fun, enjoying it as it is.
Yeah, how do you look at the final quarter now? You still got 11 and a half minutes left.
Well, hopefully I can score, any of us can score another touchdown to get our third stringers in. Just to let them have a taste of what state champions like and just play like a team, and that's it. Just hopefully score about 2 more touchdowns.
Okay, congratulations. Ron, back to you.
I'll tell you what, a very excited and talented player, Jake Sampson, just a junior. He's got a state championship. He's just about to grab one, and it'll be incentive as he comes back next year as well.
Yeah, you can see yesterday when we took his baseball card shot, he had hair too. He must have seen the barber last night.
Nice run by Nick Freeze to get a first down for the Braves up to the 34-yard line as the clock begins to wind down. 10:57 left in this one.
A lot of new fans getting their chance. About the state championships and age our own identity. We don't want to live on the coattails of those teams 5 and 6 years ago. Let's get them talking about the Curtis Vikings of 1995.
Mike Thompson up the middle, picks up about 3 for the Kamiakin Braves. David May with the stop for the 4-30. Davenport topped Tacoma Baptist 24-21 in B11 ball, and B8 ball Pateros. Nick Freeze looking for an opening. Nice little move. Keeps going. He's to the 50. A great run by Nick Freeze. He has great balance and strength.
Showed a little bit of shiftiness there too. 40 closed up to make the play. There was no play left. Watch number 40 right here come in to make the play, and Nick Freeze right there says maybe never mind. Nice block out front as well. Kamiakin with a few backup people in there now. Number 46, Russ Wright, the tight end, making the play, making the block.
All right, here's Lusk as they move into Viking territory. A handoff to Freeze. They're just going to give the ball to Freeze and say try to power past the defenders for the Vikings, but it didn't happen that time as David May once again made the stop. He's been in 3 of the last 4 tackles. Let's go down to Nita Wiggins on the Kamiakin sideline. Nita?
The emotion is really starting to overflow over here on the sideline. Now tackle Nathan Gladstone is most visibly affected by that score. Now, Gladstone was not expected to even be able to play this year because he had Hodgkin's disease. He has now beaten that. He is in remission. But right now he's on the sidelines, and he has been crying about the outcome of this game. We tried to get a comment from him, and he just said he just couldn't talk to us. But he was very much interested in being a part of the team this year, and he was on the team and contributed early in this game. But right now the emotion is just too strong for him.
All right, thank you, Nita. And Chuck, we mentioned before the game what a big night this is for these young guys, how emotional it is. This is the biggest night of their football lives, and somebody's going to win and somebody's going to lose. And the guys who are on the short end of it, sometimes it is overwhelming.
Well, and the effort and the emotion to get to this point is the same on both sidelines. Both teams have worked incredibly hard to get here, whether you win or lose, it doesn't diminish the effort that you've made to get here. Nathan Gladstone probably made a bigger effort than anyone in this stadium to get here.
A lot of credit to him. That was a nice run by Friesman. And what a stick by number 27 for the Curtis Vikings. I'll tell you what, that was quite a play. Steve Walker made the tackle.
See Nick Fries probably got an ankle stuck there as well. Again, here's just the kind of the power play. Bring the offside people around, and Nick Fries dusts off David May and then gets upfield, and then Walker comes up and absolutely inflates the airbag on Nick Fries right there.
Fries is still down on the 40-yard line. Looks like he's catching his break. We'll be back with more from the first ever Gridiron Classic in the Tacoma Dome with 8:47 to go in the game. Curtis 49, Kamiakin 7. Welcome back to Tacoma. Ron Callan alongside Chuck Nelson at the WIIA U.S. Bank Gridiron Classic. And one thing we're going to deal with, Chuck, is the U.S. Bank players of the game a little later on in this quarter.
You've obviously got an awful lot of choices. Been a number of big plays made almost exclusively on the Curtis side, both offensively and defensively.
So stay tuned for that a little later on with 8:32 to go. As this the 5th game of a long day for the people who run this Tacoma Dome. The 5th contest, and there's a couple of smiling faces on that Curtis sideline. Pat Salzman.
And Jake Sampson
pretty
adding to this winning tradition. This will be their 3rd state championship in the last 6 seasons. Not too bad.
Here's Lusk pitching it to number 49 for the Kamiakin Braves. He moves for a couple of yards. Folks, I'll just be totally honest with you. Number 49 is not on the roster here. So we're going to find out who number 49 is. We get a chance.
Maybe they made a trade. As the game went on. Excuse me.
All right.
Some new players in there, new bodies.
One of our stat guys is going to run over there and find out who 49 is for us. As Lusk hands off to Thompson. Mike Thompson, a nice little run for about 4 yards. It'll be 3rd and 5 for the Braves. 7:30 to go here in the 4th quarter. As Curtis becomes the 5th team of the day to win a state championship. Adam So, number 70 with the tackle for the Vikings.
This is a senior class for Curtis that had not been to the playoffs at all. They had not made the playoffs since their championship season of 1990.
And this could be, Chuck, the most one-sided AAA final in the history of this state championship. Right now it is. So the Braves need to get marching if they want to avoid that dubious distinction.
42-point differential.
We have the answer. Jaquale Upton is number 49. So we now have a complete roster.
Largest margin of victory, 34 points, as Upton makes some great moves of his own, trying to diminish. Kind of made the nice little semicircle off the right side and all the way back to the left side.
Nice move by Jaquale Upton.
Getting back to the largest margin, 34 points, Mount Tahoma 37, Rogers of Puyallup 3 in 1979. Kamiakin trying to do what they can, and you see Upton making some great moves in the open field.
He's a junior, 5'8", 155. That's good enough for a first down for the Braves. As they march toward, he moves up the middle inside the 10 to about the 9-yard line. About a yard short of the first down. Derek Pahulu makes the stop for the Vikings.
Curtis frontline defenders still on the field, and new bodies in there for Kamiakin as well, as you see.
The swollen ankle of Chassie.
Carl Chassie. Don't like to see crutches.
They look painful. Here's Lusk now. 2nd down. A little over a yard to go. The option play. He pitches back to Jaquale Upton. He's looking for a hole, and he's stopped after about a 1.5 yard loss. Pahulu once again getting his name mentioned a couple of times. Nice pursuit by Pahulu.
Kamiakin sideline full of players that worked hard, coming up a little bit short, and the Curtis sideline that doesn't have far to go to celebrate. Quarterback Matt Salzman congratulating some of his teammates.
5:38 to go in this AAA final. 3rd down and 2 yards to go for the Braves. Lusk back to pass, another lofted deep pass into the corner of the end zone, incomplete. He's trying to hit Grillo.
Give a little nudge with his left hand to the Curtis defender to create a little bit of separation. Ball a little bit wide.
All right, it's 4th down and 2. A big play for the Braves. They want to try to get a little bit closer here. High formation. Lusk. Ball's at the 10. They need to get past the 8 for a 1st down. Here's the pitch to Jaquale Upton. He battles down close to a 1st down. It'll depend on where the officials mark the ball.
Nice play by Upton, though, knowing he's only got a couple of yards to go. Let's not get fancy. Let's hit it off in there and try to get the 1st down, and indeed he does.
May and Pahulu on the stop, but it wasn't enough. Now it's a 1st and goal situation for the team from the Tri-Cities, from Kennewick. Their first ever trip to the state finals. They've never been past the quarterfinals before. Quite an accomplishment for this team to get to the finals facing the juggernaut called Curtis. They've been so impressive to me, Chuck.
Well, when you talk about the best programs in the state, Curtis's name is always right up there. Obviously, 3 championships. After
ball up
is
for grabs.
Interception made.
David Baker, who scored the first touchdown of the day, he picks off a pass by Lusk. And the end zone is a touchback, and the 42-point lead remains a 42-point
It's been a big corner of the end zone for David Baker. He's going to come back to the Tacoma Dome, and first place he's going to go is over to that corner. That's right where he scored his touchdown early in this ball game. And now he makes the defensive play. We look at Upton off the Kamiakin sideline. Well-deserved drink of water. We saw the lob pass to the right side. This time, Lusk trying to make something happen as well. Just a jump ball, and David Baker with a better jump.
And Chuck, that's a tough pass to throw. Running to the left, throwing with the right hand. But let's face it, it's all Curtis right now. Times marching on for the Vikings with 4:56 to go here in the game. It's 49-7. We'll return to the Tacoma Dome right after this. And their 3rd AAA state championships. Never happened before. No team's ever done it. The team in the blue and white uniforms is getting ever close, and they've got a new quarterback right now. It's number 11, Travis Wakefield, getting a chance to call the signals, and he hands off, looks like to Sampson, Jake Sampson, who scored that touchdown just a little while ago. He gets about 2 yards. And you know, Chuck, this is the first high school championship here, but they've had other football championships here. 1986, the NAIA Division II final. PLU and Wisconsin Stevens Point played to a tie. Look at that. Viking drives, 11 possessions, 7 TDs. Wow. That's called production. And for you trivia buffs, the Diamond Bowl was held here in 1987 and 88. Georgia Southern beat Furman in 87. They beat Central Arkansas in 1988. So the Tacoma Dome, it's been here since 83. It's had a variety of activities, and now for the next 6 years, it's going to be home to the high school football championship.
What was the score of that Furman Georgia Southern game there?
I can't remember. I remember all I remember I was here. And I was saying to myself at the time, why was I here?
Yeah, Georgia Southern, a dominant program in 1AA football. The division of major college football that plays playoffs, crowns an actual champion.
That's true. All right, as the substitutes continue to come in, that's Michael Treywick carrying the ball for the Vikings with 3:30 to go now, leading by 42 points, a record-setting night for the Vikings on offense. They've racked up a number of yards, more points than any other team in the AAA final. The margin of victory is a new record. So a night to remember for Bob Lucy and that group of guys right there, the Curtis Vikings. We've really had a great time tonight bringing you this final here on Cairo TV. Thanks for watching this, and stay tuned because we've got the presentation of the trophy and the big celebration by the Vikings. As it looks like there's a timeout on the field right now.
Everybody gets a chance to play. Yeah, everybody indeed gets a chance to play. You saw, look at
the little chicanery going on down there, the little trickery. Look at these players now. They're getting ready. They're hovering around the Gatorade. I don't know if it's actually Gatorade, but the liquid refreshment stand behind the bench, getting ready to maybe douse someone. Maybe Bob Lucy is going to get an early shower, Chuck. It's happened in the O'Day game when Monty Kohler was doused, and he wasn't actually too thrilled with it. But it's punt time for the Curtis Vikings. This is Mike Lucy. He boots it up. Not exactly the kind of punt you want to remember, but he gets a bounce. It's pretty good. Up to about 43. A punt of maybe 25 yards.
It's called dead at the 43-yard line.
2:52 to go. 26 yards is the official length of that punt.
What was the longest punt in that Furman, Georgia Southern game? Were there 26-yard punts in that one?
There's a guy, one of the guys over here is a total trivia nut, and he came up to me before the game. He said, "Don't forget about that diamond hole."
It's a great facility to play a small college or high school football game in. Upton once again.
There was some concern
north and south.
Would this be an exciting enough place, because it doesn't have the diamond vision, it doesn't have for fans the 450 monitors out where you get your refreshments, but you know, it's so much closer. We're so much closer. We're standing up right where the action is. The fans are right below us. It's I think it's turned out to be a quality event. They worried about getting the crowds in and out between games, but that seemed to have gone pretty smoothly today. So here come the Braves, trying to get into double figures tonight on the 37-yard line. First down, actually second down, driving toward a possible first down, but I think he's short by a yard.
Josh Boyce on the carry, as Kamiakin obviously as well. Spreading the wealth a little bit, and there you see
Gatorade action. It was water. It looked like ice water. Did they get him?
A long shot. I'm not sure who they were after there. That's not Bob Lucy.
The assistant coaches. Oh, and there goes Bob Lucy.
There's
who got it.
Bob Lucy.
He is
now going to enter the wet T-shirt contest.
He's shivering. That was a shocker to him. Let's go down to Bill Rocky. Bill, did you get wet?
No, I saw what was coming. I stood clear. They went for the, I like the strategy. They went for a couple assistant coaches first, and then they went for the head coach. And who knows who's going to get wet next, but I think I'm going to get out of the way here. It's going to be me.
Hey, guys, get rock. Oh, you got Maria there.
As the assistant coaches continue to go down one by one.
How often do you get multiple dunkings as we watch Upton with a nice little run for inside the 25-yard line to about the 23. 55 seconds to go as the clock continues to wind down. It's hard to, you know how coaches keep saying, get back, guys, come on. But things are a little bit loose on the Curtis sideline right now as we watch the Braves come up to the line of scrimmage. It's Lusk. Second down and 5 on the 23. 49-7 Curtis. 32 seconds to go. The ball up the middle. Fans and the Curtis players are all holding their players, saluting their coaches, saluting a great football program here just in a suburb of Tacoma University Place. It's the Curtis Vikings with 5 seconds to go. The clock winds down to 0. There you have it, the 1995 AAA champions, the Curtis Vikings. Final score, 49-7 over Kamiakin. Craig Beverland shaking hands with Bob Lucy. Just an exciting win and a dominant win for Curtis, Chuck.
It's a program that has a great deal of pride. Had been out of the playoffs for the last few years after those state championship years, 89 and 90. The flip side, of course, for every winner, somebody has to lose. Kamiakin, a great season for the Braves, ending up 10-3. It'll be a long trip back to Kennewick and a very short ride to University Place for your state champion Curtis Vikings.
Well, a record-setting night for the Curtis Vikings. As we talk about our U.S. Bank players of the game, there's the one on defense, Mike Cadwell. Just a fantastic effort. He had 9 tackles, Chuck Nelson, and he was dominant on D and on special teams.
Had 3 interceptions in the semifinal game, led this defense in tackles in the championship game. Your defensive player of the game, your U.S. Bank player of the game for defense, Mike Cadwell of the Curtis Vikings. When you put up 49 points, There's going to be a lot of offensive players. A great game for Matt Salzman, your quarterback. Sam Gage, a great game. But your offensive player of the game, Elijah Baker, 49 points on the board, lots of offense. So that makes a coach pretty happy, huh, Bill Rocky?
Elijah Baker had that 81-yard run, as we talked about Lucy.
Coaching staff, Darren Ringback, Doug Cowan, Don Lickey, my offensive coordinator, Casey Crawford, Bob Robinson, Scott Spence, those guys did a super job, and these kids have been super all year. We're the number 3 seed out of our league.
Your wildest dreams, did you think it'd be this easy?
You know, I really did. And it was a minor setback with Rogers, and they're a great team. We come from a great league, but I really did. I believed that this team could do this all along.
You had a great group of kids, and they really came out and played today, and that's got to make you feel good that when they came out for a state title, they rose to the occasion.
Well, we talked about it. This was going to be our best game. You know, this is what we worked for. Our last day's work is our best day's work, and that's our motto. And I want to wish George Curtis, who's 91 years old, a very happy birthday, along with my mother-in-law. Okay, and this is just super. I'm so excited for our school, our city, and everybody.
Okay, he's got 3 titles now, and Curtis Vikings definitely the best team here in Tacoma tonight. Ron?
All right, let's send over to Nita Wiggins. Nita's with Scott Mitchell. Nita?
Yes, we're here with injured quarterback Scott Mitchell. He is a junior, so he's looking to come back and play for Kamiakin next year. Scott, first of all, tell us how you are doing after the game.
How what, ma'am?
How are you doing after the game?
I'm all right. I wanted to play, but they wouldn't let me play.
The team showed a lot of confidence in you, giving you the ball on 4th down and in passing situations. What did you think about the confidence the team showed in you?
I just let my team down. I should have been able to play. I just wanted to play.
Oh, you came into this game 1,800 yards passing, great season. Just reflect on the year for me. What did you think about your contribution this year?
I should have performed better in this game. I should have played in this game and won.
Thanks for stopping by to talk to us. We'll keep an eye on you for next year. Thanks.
All right. Thank you very much, Nita Wiggins, as the Curtis Viking players are kind of manhandling that WIAA trophy. They're trying to keep it together, actually, after they got a little bit too excited after the game, but they're very, very proud to have possession of that trophy, Chuck Nelson.
It's a pretty physical football team, Ron. Not only on the field, but you can see everybody wants a piece of that. Everybody wants to touch that championship trophy. They've earned it, and it's theirs. The Curtis Vikings.
All right, the final score once again, Curtis 49, Kamiakin 7. We'll have more of the celebration from the Tacoma Dome coming up, so stay with us.
You never...
Kamiakin 7. Obviously, it was a very, very one-sided game, very one-sided game.
There's the championship trophy that so many players, so many football teams across the state back in August really went to work to earn. It's a shame, obviously, that only one team can earn it, only one team can win it, but it certainly is hard to argue that the Curtis Vikings did indeed earn it. They were by far the better team here this evening. Some great players, some great individual efforts, and a pretty good football team all around. Well coached, threw the ball very well, something we didn't expect to see them do. Run the ball really well. That's what we expected. As you can hear, there's a lot of people still in the stadium as the Curtis Vikings do the Curtis traditional 100-yard sprint after post-game, and the Curtis fans absolutely love it. One more thing for them to be excited about tonight.
Absolutely loving it as we take a look at the final stats in this first ever AAA final for Dome. As you can see,